This is for the sled dogs in the trenches. Real hockey parents, real stories. The good and the gong show. No filters, no sugarcoating, no politics. Just straight hockey talk and the best guests around the barn. Welcome to the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast. All right, boys, grind them corners, chirp responsibly, and bring that savage fire.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast, episode number 72, powered by Pacific Rink, the unfiltered podcast for hockey parents. No politics, no sugarcoating, just real talk for hockey parents in the trenches. Coming to you remote.
Well, you know what you sound like?
What?
You sound like you're trying not to speak too loudly in a public place.
I am 100% trying not to do that, by the way. You're exactly right about that.
Maybe we should whisper the whole show.
Is it that obvious? Sorry, folks. Sorry.
Why don't you just keep the microphone closer to your mouth?
I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's much better.
I know, but I'm trying to hide the microphone so it doesn't look like I'm recording a podcast.
Well, I mean, by staying away from it, you're not giving it any extra cover.
What do you want me to tell you?
I don't know. You don't have to tell me anything. Yeah, what's up, dude? So you are in the middle of a hockey bang.
I'm on fire right now.
Well, that's for a few reasons.
I am having a Crazy Hockey Dad's meltdown at the moment. Full swing, buddy.
Meltdown alert.
Full swing. Literally full swing.
Okay, so go.
Where do you want me to start?
From the beginning.
From the beginning?
Yes.
I woke up this morning. I finished packing Dominic and I because he had a kind of like a showcase up at Sacred Heart University.
Nice, dude. Do you use your Pacific Rink bags?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, nice, dude.
Oh yeah, man. They're on our socials. I think we really put up on our socials already.
Yeah, I was just double checking.
Oh, 100% I did. Yeah, 100%. So yes. So I woke up this morning, finished packing Dom and I. So somebody hit my Jeep not too long ago, right?
Yes.
And I've been putting it off, not getting it fixed.
Yes.
Just because I've been busy. Like I need my car, right? So I dropped it off this morning. My mother picked me up from the auto body shop, drove me over to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, grabbed a car, went home, packed it. So Dom and I jumped in. So we've been like had to stop at Pure Hockey because he snapped his pulse Friday night. Right?
Yeah, but don't you have like 17 blade techs?
They're too short for him because he keeps growing.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Meanwhile, how do I get you in my ear, Scott? I feel like I'm listening to you. There's speakers in my computer.
Jeez.
How do I get you in my ear?
Oh, well, let me see if I can help you with that.
We're having technical difficulties with me in the lobby of a hotel.
Are your
Hold on, I got it.
Your speakers your headphones are connected to the microphone or your computer?
My headphones are connected to my computer.
So put it to the microphone.
Yep, I got you, buddy.
And then change it.
We're good. I changed it to the mic. We're good.
Okay, you're the man. So anyhow, so you went and so yet another multi-$100 stick broke. Okay, excellent. Outside of the warranty window.
$300 for new Pulse Orange.
So now that's in the garbage.
In the garbage, yep. The blade snapped on Friday night at a 3-on-3.
Oh, well, you started off your weekend fucking spot on, dude.
I wasn't too worried about him snapping the funny part about it is he snapped his pulse and he has a twitch backup, and the twitch backup's like 2 inches longer.
Yeah.
Right. So he used it for the end and he crushed it in a 3-on-3. So he's like, okay, I'm good. So finally, so we're on our way up here to Connecticut this morning or this afternoon. And he's like, Dad, what if my stick breaks? He's like, I don't have a backup. I'm like, oh shit. So of course, Pure Hockey in Stamford is right there. Right. So we stop at Pure Hockey along the drive. I added a stop to my Waze, to my Waze. So we stopped, we were driving right past it anyway. So it's not like it was difficult. But so we stopped, bought another $300 stick, got his skate sharpened. He needed some more tape, and he needed some lizard grip, and he needed this, and he needed that. So I walk out of there like,
he didn't need any of that.
He needed none of
those
that.
are all want tos.
Of course. So I walk out of there like, $450, lighter. So then we get to, listen, it gets better. We finally get to Sacred Heart. Literally, it was not raining the entire day, but it was overcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get to Sacred Heart. I park. It starts pouring.
All right. How many umbrellas you have in the car?
0.
Yeah.
Because it's a rental.
Awesome. Yeah,
right?
Good job.
So I rented a Dodge Durango because it was the kind of the biggest SUV they had. Who knew that the rental car places were busy Monday mornings? I didn't until this morning.
Okay. Yeah. So that's
the thing.
All right.
Yeah. So we got to Sacred Heart, and he registered, and got on the ice at 4:45.
Okay.
No, 4:20. Yeah, there's 4:20.
Okie doke. And
so it was a very high end showcase with like prep schools and colleges that are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, it was good.
And how did
he was with 11s and 12s.
How many kids were on the ice?
It was just his team. He's team A. There's a team B.
So what are we talking, like 15 aside? More?
I would say it's probably about 15 kids. Yeah, something like that. 15, 16 kids.
30 all
2
day?
goalies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there was 15. It was just our practice for our team. The other team practices.
So that's the only time he's only skated with his team so far.
Correct.
And how did he end up on that team? Is there any rhyme or reason?
I think they just divvied up.
Right. Okay. Got you.
All very high level AAA kids, a lot of mid-Fairfield, 2 Boston Junior Eagle kids. I think that it's all 11s. The only 12s are Dominic, the 2 Junior Eagles kids, and like 4 mid-Fairfield kids.
Wow. And
yeah.
How'd
it was good.
Did you know any of the other families?
I did, yes.
You did? Got you.
I recognized a bunch of people.
How did so once that all registered upstairs with Dom, was he like sweet, or was he like
I think he was a little apprehensive at first, but he performed nicely, so I can't complain.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
He looked the part.
He did. Yes.
Oh, great.
His bandwidth got a little light. I would say midway through. Started out real good. Bandwidth kind of started to wane midway through, and then picked it up at the end.
Okay. Yeah. And when he got off, was he in good spirits? Like he liked the skate, liked what was going on?
I think he was happy with himself.
Oh, good. That's always great.
Yeah. So that was good.
Nice, dude.
So yeah. Yeah.
Is he sleeping on campus?
No, he's in the hotel with me.
So this is only a day thing. None of those kids are, or they are. It's just
none of them are sleeping there. No.
Right. Got you.
No, this is. It's funny. I know you were asking me earlier, and it sounds ridiculous. I thought this was a hockey camp. This is a showcase. Clearly, I didn't read the email. Huh? I did not read the email when they sent it to me.
Yeah, reading's important.
It is.
But maybe you should do. You should like on You should change the settings so that like all of your emails become audiobooks or audio emails, so you can listen to them, but then you can say you read them.
So funny you say that. If I could have listened to it, I probably would have been fine.
Been better informed.
Yes, correct. You're not wrong about that.
That's funny.
So yes. So yeah, no, but it was good. He like I said, some high end kids. So he was kind of in his old element again, which was really good. Yeah.
Totally.
Kind of
especially if he comes off the ice feeling good.
Yes, and again, this was not your average AAA.
Right. It was like elite, high end elite players.
Very.
Yeah. Got you. That's great.
And he belonged, which was good.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Man. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, me too. He was nervous, but his first couple of drills he shook off the rust.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Is there like a networking component to this at all, or no? Are the coaches just there? Like you're not. None of the parents are getting in front of the representatives that are there, or they are.
It's funny you say that. Tomorrow morning when we registered, the guy registering us he said tomorrow morning they're going to have like a little bit of an orientation for us, and they're going to go over like NCAA do's and don'ts. Like I don't think they're allowed to talk to anybody. So that apparently something's coming tomorrow morning with
like the info.
Yeah,
dude. If there's you should see about getting guests on up there.
I'm sure I can work something. I
don't mean like record while you're up there now, but just
I don't know who I'm allowed to talk to. I'll find out tomorrow morning.
Yeah, but for different reasons,
Yes. But again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who I'm going to find out tomorrow who I am and are not allowed to talk to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's funny. I text our buddy Kellen Jones, Kellen and Connor.
Oh yeah, were there any of them there?
So the reason I text Kellen when I was there, I said, Kellen, I said on the flyer, so it listed a bunch of prep schools that were here and it listed a bunch of colleges like Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Quinnipiac, Holy Cross. So I said, Holy Cross. I know a coach from Holy Cross. So I text Kellen Jones and I said, Kellen, are anybody from your school up here? I said, or is it just a thing that they put on the website? You know what I mean? So he just got back to me. He goes, let me check with our guys. And he just wrote me, he goes, I've not heard about that. He goes, but our assistant, I'm not going to say his name, is close with their assistant. So maybe so he said it's possible.
Okay.
So maybe somebody from Holy is here.
Well,
interesting, right?
Yeah. Hopefully that they're not,
he literally
they're
just got back to me real time. Yeah.
Oh, really? Nice. All right.
Kellen just wrote me back. I just read that as it was coming through.
Hot off the wire.
Because I honestly, Scott, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it was like a marketing ploy, like, oh yeah, all these prep schools. I've been to things like that before. You know what I mean? Years ago.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Anyway, Dom's birth year is clearly closer to college now than they were a couple of years ago. So, and high school, obviously.
He's the youngest one here. There's only a handful of 12s. It's mostly 11s.
Yeah.
So there's 11s and 12s on Dom and the other team. And then the other session are 10s through 06.
Wait, let's back up for a second. You could just sign up for this? Like there wasn't any like vetting process?
I don't think you can just sign up. I don't think I don't think this went out to everybody.
Oh, so you got like an invite.
Yeah. I don't think this was a public. Maybe it was. Maybe I'm wrong. But the talent level on the ice did not seem like it was public.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
This Dominic said it in the car too. Like this didn't look like it was like a public invite. Maybe it was, but I can't imagine that it was a public invite. Like all these high end kids are here. You know what I'm saying?
So you should find out how they got
nobody
you.
looked at a place, Scott.
Right.
Nobody looked at a place at all. You know? I'll let you know tomorrow when I see so tomorrow there's gonna be another practice and then there's a film session for his team and then they play in the afternoon. So they come back in the afternoon. Yeah. But again, nobody looked at a place. So
what
makes you wonder.
Yeah, you should revisit how you even got the invite.
Yeah.
Or the email.
I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. Dominic and I were talking about it on the way over to the hotel. I'm not sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you can share them, it'd be interesting to know how that all came about.
Me too. Same.
Good, dude. Well, listen, before we go any further, let's take a moment just to shout out sponsors. You want to go with Howie's Hockey as per usual?
Howie's Hockey, Crazy 10. Go get your I just bought some tape. I just bought some Howie's Hockey tape from Pure Hockey, and I didn't even use my own discount code.
Not smart. That's not reading emails and not using your own discount code. You're like batting like zero.
Seriously. I'm telling you, I'm crushing it today. Yeah. So go get your tape And just pay and use the code crazy10 so you don't have to pay more like I did. So use code crazy10, go get your tape, laces, gear. We love the swag that they have. Best looking logo in youth hockey next to ours. So use the code crazy10 for 10% off your Howie's hockey gear.
That's what's up. And while you're on the internet checking things out, definitely stop over at hockeytraining.com. You got to see what Coach Kevin's got available online, on his app, on the hockeytraining.com platform. Loads of off-ice speed, strength, agility, stick handling work for yourself if you're a beer leaguer, or your kids for the off-ice training that you can do from home or wherever you might get some of that off ice in. But check out hockeytraining.com and see what Kevin's got to offer. And there's tons of stuff that's just going to be transferable to on-ice skills. So go check him out at Hockey Training HQ on Instagram or hockeytraining.com.
Love it. And then go check out Titan Battle Gear. I know they're coming out with a new thing. I want to say July 4th or around July 4th. They're coming out with a new base layer. It's the best protection on the market. Scott and I love it for our kids. You guys should check it out too. They not only have the protection there, but they also have 6 styles, which is kids are all about style these days. So they have the styles to go along with the protection. So go and use our discount CrazyDads10 for 10% off your Titan Battle Gear.
All right. And for any coaches and managers that are thinking about video review or analytics for your team this coming season, check out athleticperformanceinsight.com. Use the contact form, reach out to Eric. He owns the company, built the platform, and he'd be happy to do a demo for you, show you what it's all about, break down the game for free so you can see what comes out on the back end after, your team, your coach or manager submits the video, and you get it broken down so you can review it with your team. Parents can review it with kids, or kids can review it at home on their own. And it's just a great way to help your kids understand, gameplay, game situations, hockey IQ, all that stuff. So anyone looking to introduce video review, check out athleticperformanceinsight.com.
Love it.
Yeah. And get 10% off a season subscription if you mention Crazy Hockey Dads.
$100 value.
That's what's up.
Can I just tell you how many people are walking by me and they're looking like, what the fuck is this guy doing? There must be like a business something here because everybody's got like jackets on.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Something's going on. I don't know. Me either. Yeah.
Anyhow, just say your podcast and why don't you get some stranger on?
Yeah, don't think I won't, by the way. If somebody walks by and asks what I'm doing, I'm going to actually have them come around and get in front of the camera.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck with that.
Don't think I'm not going to do that.
All right.
Especially if it's a hockey parent. No, because I know
that's true. You can get a hockey parent on the fly.
Dude, I've been looking. Trust me. Apparently, some kid flew in from California for this. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's what.
All right. Well, listen,
I'm
looking forward to hearing more about what else goes down this weekend and what Dom takes away from it. Hopefully, he's learned a few things while he's there too. I'm sure he is.
I'm curious. I'm really curious myself.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. I'll let you guys know. I'll definitely keep you posted. Now, O-Man had a tournament this weekend, right?
Oh, he did. He played in a tournament. It wasn't. It was here in Jersey. He played with a team with a guy. The guy that does like skills training here on ice and off ice. Put together a team. Played in. It was like a mixed skill tournament down the Jersey Shore. Most teams had like a mix of double A and triple A kids. And yeah, they got to the finals and lost, which was annoying. They were up 3-1, then it was 3-2, then it was 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, 5-4 in overtime. And it was a bummer, but it was good for him to get back out on the ice. He was really glad he did it. He had fun. He played with some players that he used to be teammates with.
Right.
And that was fun for him, and he had, he had a pretty good like numbers weekend. Not exactly what I was praising with him over the weekend because there was definitely, a lot of, it's so frustrating when, I don't know, just like as a parent, you just want, your kid can do more and then you're just not seeing the more on the ice. Then I start second guessing myself. I'm like, oh, well, maybe I just think he has more, but he doesn't really have more. You know what I mean? It's just like me thinking that he's not like doing his best, but there was moments where it's like, you got to take away time and space, like on the forecheck, like if you're F1, like you got to get up in that guy's face and it's like, come on, guy, come on, let's move those feet a little bit, back check, come on, a little faster, let's go. And these are the things that I'm watching the whole time. And then, whatever, he definitely, he had some good plays, made some good passes, put a few nice pucks in the net.
Okay. A lot of
but
points.
It's still
a lot of points this weekend, right?
What?
He had a lot of points this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he did well. I don't know the exact number, but did, that part stuck out. And so he was happy about that. But obviously I'm just looking for him to kind of close gaps on things that are, need work. So anyway, so now after the weekend, he hasn't played a lot of hockey since, I don't know, the end of the season. And so he had a tournament this weekend and now he's on the ice for like a back-to-back clinic tonight.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see.
So we always talk about not doing spring league teams. Talk to me about your experience. Would you do it again if you had to? knowing now that you went through it, would you sign up for this again?
If you wanted to.
Yeah.
And I say that because it wasn't like we weren't, first and foremost, we weren't seeking out this tournament, right? Like we got, they had reached out to us. They were looking for some more players and they got our name. So I signed Otto up, in part because he wanted to do it, in part because he has friends that were like doing it also. And it was never meant to be like, we weren't chasing this like high-end tournament team to go play high-end talent in like, Boston or Montreal or, any real far travel. It was a local tournament with like a mix of kids for him just to go and have fun, and be with other players, be with, different coaches just for a different experience. It was so not, it wasn't anything that there was, we were chasing or so to that end, it was like purely just because he wanted to, and he wanted to have some fun and it was local and we didn't have to try it, drive far. So if you want to do it again, sure. Yeah, I had no problem with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But if he was also like, it's a pass, I'd be like, okay, it's a pass. That's fine. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. Yeah. That makes sense. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So I'm curious. We had somebody wrote it into us and asked about if we could have a conversation about the Brick series. Want to have a little conversation about the Brick series now?
Yeah, we can have
a bad idea.
A conversation about the Brick series.
Higher level stuff. So let's hear so we'll give some context. So for those who don't know what the Brick series is, and Scott, you can correct me if I'm wrong here at all, but for those of you that don't know what the Brick series is, the Brick series is it's in your squirt years. I want to say when you're 10, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's your squirt major year.
Right. So, so the Brick Series is a tournament that's held in Canada. I want to say it's in, Edmonton.
It's in the mall. It's in the mall in Edmonton.
Right. So it's in the mall in Edmonton, and it is essentially it's supposed to be your best squirts, right? And there's teams that come from the regions, right? So like, I think Penn's Elite's got one. Or maybe they're under a different name. Like I know, like the Boston Junior Bruins go, right? If I'm not mistaken. The
Detroit Junior Red Wings. There's Breakout. There's a Breakout Alberta.
Right.
Team
Connecticut
Minnesota.
Rangers.
Western Selects.
Right.
BC Junior Canucks.
Right. Are you looking at a website? You punch it up?
I pulled it up. Toronto Bulldogs are there. Saskatchewan Junior Pats. Like it's a mix of all like the top end. Squirt majors.
That's right. So they have the pre-brick tournaments. They start like having tryouts for these teams when the kids are mites. I remember Dominic had tryouts when he was a mite, and you go through the pre-brick years, and there's a lot of pre-brick tournaments, right? So Dominic did like it's funny, we hit it during COVID, so it was kind of difficult. So but there was like the Windy City, there was Kings of Vegas, there's the one in Boston. I want to say Boston Showdown or whatever it is. I forgot what it was, but there's all these pre-brick tournaments, right? And essentially as you get closer to your squirt years, they narrow down and they call it the top 30 kids, whatever it is, and then they take like a team, to go when they're, I think, first or second year squirts. Is it second year squirts? That sound right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that's your Brick series, and it's a lot of very high end kids, right? Dominic made the pre-brick team for CJR. So we did all the pre-brick tournaments. He did not make the brick 30. He was right outside the top 30. And then I think they wound up taking like 18 kids to Edmonton. Unfortunately for Dominic, that mid Fairfield 12 team was what he had to compete with, right?
Right.
So if he was in a different region, it probably would have been a little different. But so Dom got shut out of the brick series, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so I'm curious to hear. So that's kind of some context on brick. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
It's actually starting soon
for that particular age, right?
Yeah, so last year was the 20, so 2 years ago was the 2014s, last year was the 2015s, and this year is 2016s.
Right.
So it actually starts on June 28th. And you can, if for anyone that's interested, or doesn't, know about it, you can go to brickhockey.ca and you can actually watch some games. You can watch the games online just to get to see, a look to see what it's all about. But look, so Otto I never took him to a brick tryout. And I know people that use brick tryouts just to kind of get a sense to like how their kid stacks up compared to other like high-end kids of that birth year, because you're going to see them all at tryouts for the most part, or for sure. So, some people go there thinking that they have a chance, but then they may be delusional. A lot of people, if they're going kind of like your club teams, like, before there's the tryouts even start, if you're going to be making the team or not. But yeah, you don't, it's not geography defined. So if, depending on where you live, there's some kids that if they know they're not going to make one team, they're going to go travel and they're going to try to make another team. Like there's a local kid last year.
They certainly do. Yeah.
Yeah. So Otto played with a kid who didn't make the CJR team, but he ended up playing with the Junior Bruins.
Boston.
Right?
Yeah. The Bruins. That's what I thought.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I didn't, a few things like about that. Number one, I never thought about using it as a means for like to see how Otto compares to like the other kids. I wasn't gonna just bring him up to a tournament with like, or not tournament, sorry, a tryout. I just didn't see the value in it personally at the time. But I guess I understand why people do it. And then the other part was like, if I really thought he had a chance of making it, I would have considered it, but I didn't think that was the case, and I'm sure he would not have made it, which is fine. So I was just like, why even? I don't know. I was just we didn't do anything brick, like zero. But I know plenty of kids that did, and there weren't many kids. I think 2014s there was only one kid from New Jersey that played brick, or at least played on CJR's team. Maybe 2014s there was kids that lived in Jersey that played for, I don't know, Penn's, like Pittsburgh or Boston. I'm not sure, but yeah, there wasn't a lot of representation from Jersey.
No, there wasn't. I want to say on our brick team, I want to say there was one kid made CJR, maybe two. I want to say two. I want to say there were two Jersey kids. So it's funny. I don't know if you remember. Dominic made the CJR pre-brick team.
Yes.
When he was a mite. And it's funny. I'll say this. At the CJR tryout for brick, the first time we went up there when he was like 8, right? That was when I first got my first taste of like
how crazy things are.
I'll tell you you want to hear a fucked up story?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm in the hotel lobby telling this. Hopefully nobody walks by. Okay. I'm going to get arrested. It's unbelievable. So this is my brick series story for everybody. Ready? So I hear about the brick series. Okay. Because a buddy of mine's kid played for Mid Fairfield. Okay. As a mite.
Yeah.
It was actually the Bolts, right? The Connecticut Bolts. So they weren't Mid Fairfield yet because I think they were too young.
They were full ice mites.
I think so. Whatever it is, I forgot what it was. But this is like an unbelievable story. I cannot believe I'm telling this on this podcast. This is like I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Why?
So my buddy goes. He goes. You should have Dom come up and try out for brick. Okay, fine. So I do. And I remember I pulled him out of school early because we're in northern Jersey. not far from Connecticut, and I had to go up to Chelsea Piers, Stanford. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I can't believe I'm going to tell this.
Oh, come on,
So
spit it out. Let's
embarrassing.
go.
So fucking embarrassing. So, so I take Dom out of school, like call it like, I don't know, 45 minutes early. Okay. So I pull him out of school. Scott, he must have been in like fourth grade.
Yeah.
I think it was fourth grade because COVID hit like not long after. So maybe the tryouts were in like February. Does that sound right? It was something like that, right?
Yeah.
And because they were early. So I remember you waited to like May to hear, because like you said, it started in like June, right? So it was spring hockey.
Yep.
So so the tryouts were early. So I pull him out of school, and I bring him home, and we're getting ready to go. Okay. And like, those like, I don't know if it was like a bomb cyclone, but those like snowstorm, those snow squalls that just kind of like whip up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Scott, I Dom Schools was 3 minutes from my house. So I grab him, bring him home, grab his hockey bag, change it into his base layer. Scott, I look out my back door and it's a fucking whiteout.
Okay.
A white out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy shit. So I get in the car and like there's snow everywhere. Like it wasn't supposed to snow.
Okay.
Okay. And it's white out. Like just out of nowhere. Right. So I'm going from Northern Jersey up to Chelsea Piers, Stanford, which is about an hour-ish, 45, 55 minutes, depending on like, right?
Yeah.
On traffic. So I literally get Dominic there. Okay. And I run up to like the table. Scott, we must have had there were girls on the ice that were literally just getting off.
Okay.
Okay. Older girls getting off. Okay. Like teenage. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so I grab his jersey. I sign it at the check-in table. They give me his jersey. I'm like sweating, right? Because I'm like going to be late for this thing. I think they were running like 2 or 3 minutes behind, right?
Yeah.
So the girls are getting off and the Zamboni's just about to come on. So I get Dominic into the locker room and everybody's basically done, right? Like they're like tying their skates. So and again, Dom's a mite, right? He's like an 8-year-old, right? So I'm like tying his skate work, just trying to get him dressed as quickly as humanly possible. Everybody's leaving, and my buddy wasn't there, but my buddy's wife was there, and her son. They were literally just walking out the door. So like I was in the car for like an hour. I had to piss like a racehorse, right? And I'm like trying to get him like dressed because I couldn't go to the bathroom because I was sitting in traffic, this bomb cyclone. Like we like ran out of the house, right? There's like snow everywhere. Everything is slow. I'm driving on like back roads trying to like get to Chelsea Piers, Stanford as quickly as humanly possible, right? So I get him, I go in the locker room, I get him like changed. He gets out. The Zamboni's like getting off of the ice. Okay. So I run out. I think I grabbed like, I ran out to like a water fountain because I was so thirsty. I ran out to a water fountain and then I'm like, I grab water and I'm like, all right, I'm like, now that everybody's out of the locker room, let me go back into the locker room and use the bathroom.
Okay.
You with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe I'm going to say this on live air. This is unbelievable. So so I go back toward the
You're
locker
concerning
rooms.
me. Like, where are we going with this?
I'm telling you, I'm getting arrested. I go back to the locker rooms, and I open up the door, and I turn to the right. There was a wall there. I turned to the right, and Scott, it was the girls' team who just got off the ice.
You went to their locker room?
Yes, by accident.
Stupid.
I didn't mean to.
Listen, why?
So embarrassing. Like I can't even tell you. So
Listen,
embarrassing. I can't tell you how embarrassing.
If it said girls' locker room on the door, you're not going to go in.
Anything. It said nothing.
Okay, so that's not your fault.
It said nothing. Like so embarrassing. Beyond embarrassing, dude. Like I can't even tell you.
Listen,
Like,
mistakes happen.
I called my buddy. I'm like, I'm getting fucking arrested.
Oh, give me a break.
I'm like, dude, I just went into the wrong locker room. I'm like, I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested.
But you didn't, and nothing came of it. So you're fine.
No,
Clearly.
yes, but this is my brick tryout story, and I must say that was the first time, and I'm leaving stuff out in the story, but this is my first time that I remember then coming out of that. Actually, I went to the right locker room and I went to the bathroom, right? And I came out and I'm watching the kids just do laps around the ice just to warm up. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember I called my buddy and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, because I'd never seen such a concentration
of
high end that age talent.
Yeah.
Until I was up at Chelsea Pier Stanford. And you could see just by the kids doing a lap around the ice that I was like, holy shit.
This is another level.
Whole nother level.
Yeah.
Scott was a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen, if you watch any of the Brick games, it's a whole nother level compared to what you saw all season. I'll tell you that much.
Yes. You know, it was a whole nother level of talent, you know? And the kids all skated like Dominic did, which was some better. It was very impressive. It was very impressive.
Yeah. That's certainly one of the differentiators at that age.
Yeah.
Is skating quality.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So that was my pre-brick tryout for CJR. He made that. So I think we started, like you said, we started like working out in like June. You know, the workouts were tremendous. They were ridiculous. The level of talent on the ice was fantastic. The drills were fantastic. Most people know Danielle Ward, you know, from the Mid-Fairfield 2012 team. Danielle was running it. I mean, she's a rock star. You know, it was very impressive. And then unfortunately, then COVID hit, right?
Right.
And most things shut down. So, Dominic made a Hockey Essentials team that year too, and the Hockey Essentials kind of shut down. They didn't do much, but I got to tell you, but up in Connecticut, they did the rest of the spring, which was awesome.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you know.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and then you got into really stupid things like having to wear like masks under your cage.
Yes.
And then I bought Dominic a bubble. And because Dominic had the bubble, they're like, oh, he doesn't have to wear a mask now because he has a bubble. I mean, how stupid, because the bubble has holes on the bottom of it.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I mean, beyond dumb. But they're like, yeah. Like, so that's how we got around Dom wearing a mask on the ice, because he had a bubble on. Because so clearly with the bubble, you didn't transmit it like you would if you had a cage, which is one of the stupidest things that we were going to look back on and say, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of the pre-brick tournaments, like Dominic was supposed to go to Vancouver. That one was canceled that year. But yeah, then the following year, we did a lot of the pre-brick stuff for like Windy City and then Kings of Vegas. And they're a lot of fun. It's not necessary, folks. You do not need to play brick. You do not need to go to brick. There's plenty of people that are playing Division I hockey and in the NHL that did not play brick.
No doubt. Yeah, but it's easy to get swept up in it because it's like the first real like milestone, you know, as artificial of a milestone as it really is. It's, you know, it signals like who are the top kids at that age group. But like, you know, we always talk about at that time. Yeah, it's such a long runway and so many things can change. And, you know, look, I think that if it's, you know, you have a family that with a kid that like hands down belongs on the team, and like from a financial standpoint, it's not going to, you know, you're not, you know, it's in your budget because it's not a cheap trip, you know, and you want to do it. Like, I'm sure it's a great experience. I talked to a family who it must have been a couple of weekends ago who Otto played with, not last year, the year before. And he's a 2015 birth year. And he was playing up with the 14s. So he was on Otto's team when he was down at Woodbridge. And the kid's really good, you know, really good. He was one of the top players on our team. And he was, you know, he was a year younger. And he was being like scouted for brick. And, you know, the family wasn't going to go. They ended up going, but the dad was saying how, you know, it was a really cool experience, but like for these young kids, they're just like, like you could tell, like there was so many nerves in the locker room. Like, these are really young kids that are like going through like a lot of pressure trying to like, and plus like the mall, it's like you're playing in a mall where there's like all these different levels, and it's like, you know, the fans are right on top of the ice. And yeah. So in any event, I don't, no, it's a lot. It's a lot. But look, I don't think, like, I don't think people are foolish for doing it. I just think people that are chasing it because they think it's indicative of how their kid's career is going to go, I think that might be foolish.
You know, it's funny. If I had to do everything all over again, I don't think I would have done it. Matter of fact, I know I wouldn't have done it. Right. Just plugging my laptop in so I don't die while we're going here.
Yeah, you told me that when Otto was getting, when it was like Otto's time, and we were just talking about it. Not that I was considering going, but you were like, if I could do it over again, I would have taken all the money I spent on the pre-brick stuff and just put it into like private lessons.
Yes. So I'll say this. The pre-brick workouts were legit. Okay. If I could have done the pre-brick workouts, especially as Danielle was running them, I would have done that and not given a shit about any of the tournaments.
Right.
You know,
just the training.
Because the training was phenomenal. You know, I don't know if every single team is like that. Well, I can speak for a CJR. The workouts were phenomenal. And listen, if you make it, awesome. You know, if you like traveling, you know, with your family, and you don't mind spending the money, have at it, right? You know, the stuff's not cheap. You know, Vegas is not cheap. Vancouver, they're not cheap trips. As long as you have the means to spend, you certainly can, but you probably would be better off, you know, taking that money and going and doing skills.
Yeah.
That's my feeling, you know, or just do brick and don't do any other spring teams for the rest of the season. Right. And just go to a handful.
Do brick and another spring team?
No, do not do any other spring teams, you know.
But how can you?
If you really want to do it, you can do it. You know, like do one spring team. If you're going to pick one spring team, you could do brick if you really want to. Right. If you really want the experience of going to Edmonton, that your kid makes the team and he's good enough, have at it.
Yeah.
You know,
but I wouldn't.
That money's probably better spent, you know, just training locally.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
I mean, but look, I mean, this is also spoken by, you know, Otto wouldn't have made the team, so this is like an easy thing for me to say. And if Otto, let's just say, you know, if he was like other kids, like been recruited, or coaches were asking about him, would my approach have been different? I don't know. Probably to some degree, but at the end of the day, I don't think that whether you go or you don't go, it's really. It's not like I said before, indicative of how your kid's career is going to go at all.
It's definitely not. You don't need, there's, like I said before, there's plenty of kids that did not play brick series, did not go to Pee Wee Quebec, that are playing in college right now, that are playing in the pros right now.
No doubt.
There's plenty of people. It does not mean your kid is not on the right path. I think a lot of people get FOMO. This guy was one of them. Right?
That's like with Pee Wee Quebec too. That's like the next one.
Yes, I was smart enough to bag and not do Pee Wee Quebec.
Yeah, that was like upon us.
To not go to any tryouts for that.
Yeah, Auto Sam.
Yeah,
but and even though like Pee Wee Quebec's a different story, because it's not just like an elite tournament. Like they've got different brackets. Like they've got AA and they might even have single A for all I know. But
I'm telling you, Scott, I must have spent 12 to 15 grand on spring teams, because I don't know if you remember, Dominic was on 2 pre-break teams. He was on CJR. He was playing for the Venom, which is like PHC, for those of you who are in the Philly Hockey Club in our area. It's just unnecessary. You know, if I had to do it over again, I would do 0, or maybe I would pick like 1. And again, the workouts were fantastic, and especially CJR's workouts. That was like a whole nother level, right? So the workouts I loved. I could do without the tournaments and stuff like that.
Right. All right.
The tournaments are unnecessary, but people feel like if they don't do them, they'll be left out. And I think that's not true.
Well, and probably in most cases, it's not true. Are there some times where it might be true? Sure. But like still, again, like the kids are so young, there's so much runway of hockey. Like if it's becoming like a clusterfuck to try to figure it out, either between logistics, like getting on the right team financially, it's like, I don't know, pass.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, if you have the finances and you want to do it, and you don't mind blowing money and you like traveling for hockey and you make like a trip with your kid, then you know what? That makes sense to me. Go
Right.
create some memories while you're doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't really worry about the hockey. The hockey is kind of secondary. Go create some memories with your family and go travel and do that. And the hockey is kind of secondary. That's how I
Right.
look at that stuff, especially
Totally agree.
because the kids are like 10 years old.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's like when you look back at it. I mean, now Dom's going through his second bantam year. I mean, mites and squirts. It feels like a lifetime ago.
Right.
And it's
Right.
shit. It's nothing. It means zero. Nobody
Yeah.
said nobody asks you where did you play when you were 10? Nobody
Totally
cares.
doesn't. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like the showcase we were just at. None of those coaches care where you were when you were 10.
Right. No, they don't. And I mean, that's
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
100.
Yeah.
And speaking of coaches, you want to why don't we switch gears a little bit and want you let everybody know who's joining the pod tonight?
So this is an exciting one, and this is one that Scott and I have been trying to kind of I don't say rekindle, but revisit, rebook.
Yes.
Right? So we have the one and only Sean Flanagan, assistant coach at Cornell. For those of you who have been following us for a while, you may recognize Sean Flanagan. We interviewed him when we were up in Lake Placid at the ECAC. It was great. It was short because Sean had to get on the ice with Cornell for his team's practice. So we only had about 20 minutes with Sean in Lake Placid. The bummer about that is that the mic cable went bad, for those of you that remember. So when we interviewed Jason Tapp, we were able to save a little bit of Jason Tapp. We interviewed Connor Jones from Princeton. We were able to save a little bit of that. Sean, we were able to save nothing, unfortunately.
No. Yeah, it was sucked.
Sean, yeah, so we're running Sean back tonight. Sean has been nice enough to join us after his kids go to bed. And he is nice enough to join us to run his interview back. So we have Sean Flanagan from Cornell tonight.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
And, I was just, when we were revisiting the interview with him last time, when we had, Ben Sire on, it was Princeton, it was like, go Tigers, go Tigers. And so I was like, oh, Cornell, what's their mascot?
Big Red.
So
right?
I'm on Cornell's website.
Okay.
And the question is, what is Cornell's school mascot? Officially, Cornell does not have a mascot.
It's
However,
a big red, whatever that looks
generations of Cornellians have come to know and love the Big Red Bear as Cornell's unofficial mascot.
Oh, they do have a bear, don't they?
Yeah.
That's right. So did they just inherit?
I thought that was interesting.
Did they just inherit a bear? Is that
how
that worked?
They don't have an official mascot.
About that one.
Anyhow.
Yeah, because the big red, when you think about the big red, you know what I honestly think about? I think about a Swedish fish or a red hot. I don't think of a bear.
The Swedish chef, the Muppet.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about him. It's funny. I'm actually wearing the appropriate hat for our interview with Sean. So for those of you that don't remember,
he was at Hobart.
So Sean's uncle is the head coach at Hobart and has been there for a very long time. Our buddy Alec Marsh, episode, I don't even remember, 29, whatever it is the assistant coach at Hobart. And Sean, our buddy Sean, who's coming on with us shortly, started his coaching career as the assistant coach of Hobart under his uncle, who is still there, who Alec Marsh is coaching under.
Yeah.
So I have an appropriate hat on for tonight. Sean's going to love that.
Yeah, that's true. So good on you. You're always prepared with your attire.
It wasn't on purpose, I swear.
Yeah, right.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't on purpose. I happened to throw it on this morning when I was trying to get myself in gear.
Okay, well,
but it worked
out.
That
didn't go so well for you. Maybe you need to change your hat.
Why? I mean, it's appropriate. It's appropriate for our interview, so I have to leave it on now.
No, that's fair. And honestly, I think I just got confused about your story about when you were traveling to this morning.
My story when I was traveling was my day was a little hectic. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Anyway, but dude, let's kick it over. let's kick it over to our interview, and we'll pick it up on the other side.
Sounds good.
All right, my guy, everyone enjoy the interview. All right, everybody, welcome back to another interview here on Crazy Hockey Dads. And today's guest, we've got Sean Flanagan, associate head coach at Cornell University. Sean has been there for some time now, I think 10 years, correct me if I'm wrong. And you've helped build Cornell into one of the top programs in the college hockey landscape. And obviously, you know, widely respected, you know, I think at least you are, Sean, for, you know, like recruiting, player development, you know, things along those lines. So thank you so much for taking time to sit with us, to talk with us again after, you know, rookie mistake over here, not having a backup cable or even knowing that our cable didn't work. I mean, that's even more embarrassing.
Yes.
But nonetheless, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Jamie and I were at the ECAC finals in Lake Placid, had an opportunity to talk with Sean then, and the cable was messed up and the audio stunk. And yeah, so in any event, thanks again for taking time to talk with us again, Sean.
That's my pleasure.
Awesome, dude. And so listen, so for, you know, just, we always like to set the table with guests, and just so our audience knows, you know, kind of like who you are, like what you're up to. So if you can just kind of share with the audience, you know, what you're up to over at Cornell.
Yeah, I mean, right now the kids have been gone for about a month here from school, and it's a little wild thinking, what are we? We're the third week in June now, and we're almost less than 2 months away from them coming back. So summer seems to be flying, and you know, there's a national camp stuff coming up for USA, and we're at those. Been to some USHL camps a little bit, and you know, really just taking care of a lot of things around the office, catching up on some things, having some meetings, and a little bit of planning and whatnot, even already for the upcoming season. So it as much as we want to be in season all the time, it you know, summer seems to fly by, but it's pretty important sometimes to be a little organized on things.
Oh, I'm sure, and there's so much going on with like the recruiting landscape. I could only imagine. But did I hear you correctly that you've been going to like you've been on recruiting trips, or?
Yeah, you know, with our staff, you know, some of our staff have been to a few more than I have, but you know, a few USHL camps we've gone to, you know, checking on some kids. There's always somewhere to go, somebody to go see. So, especially like you mentioned in the landscape now, there's more kids, there's more teams. It's you know, the net's even bigger than it used to be.
Yeah. So you're, oh, sorry, James. I just want to, but just so I'm clear, this is obviously not for this upcoming season. It would be the following year, right? So it'd be for 27, 28.
Yeah. And future. Yeah.
And future and beyond. Got it. So like, that's also interesting. I didn't even think about that, James. And I know we'll get back to your question, but like, for as foolish as this might sound, like when I talk to coaches and like, yeah, we're, you know, recruiting, I'm always just thinking you're recruiting for, you know, like it's just the next season, right? Like that's what's coming up next, but clearly wow. Yeah. There's no shortage of things for you to do.
No, especially for us, you know, in the Ivy schools, we're looking for the hockey player, right? Don't get me wrong, but that those players got to come with a certain set of grades on their transcript for us, and the sooner we know whether they're going to be a student or not, it helps us keep track of them down, you know, through junior and senior year, and obviously future into junior hockey and whatnot. So
right.
Scott and I were just talking about that, Sean. We were just talking about the Ivies and how, you know, you guys, like you just said, you don't just have to recruit a hockey player. You have to recruit a student too, like a good student, somebody that's willing to, you know, to take on some of those academics. We were kind of joking about Gavin McKenna taking a fly tying course at Penn State, right? Just kind of like in passing. You know, I'm assuming you guys don't have fly tying at Cornell.
I haven't found that one yet. No. I'd try and teach it if I could, but no, I haven't found that one.
That's
you a fisherman?
I like to, yeah.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
See, so you could start that class up.
Should.
I'm not sure the academic committee will want to actually put that in the curriculum.
No, that probably will fly.
Right.
No pun intended.
I have a quick, yeah, exactly. I have a, that was good, Scott. I have a quick, interesting kind of like, thing that I've noticed about you Cornell boys. So what exactly is it about Cornell? Because if I'm not mistaken, Ben Sire did 10 years there too. And I'm pretty sure that you're going on like your 11th season there at Cornell. Is it something in the water up there that you guys just do long stints at Cornell? Or is it so good you just don't want to leave?
And I think you just kind of hit it at the last few words you said. It's a great place to be. Like where, Benny came from building Quinnipiac, he came to Cornell and kept it rolling here, and I got to learn a ton from him, day to day over the 8 years we were together. And I think he was here maybe 13, even more than I've been here now. And some of what we've had our success the last few years here is still, his fingerprints is still all over it. But it's a great place. Like, our kids they want to play hockey at Cornell. They want to play at Liner Rink. It's loud. It's incredible. Every Friday, Saturday, we're home, and it's just got a huge tradition throughout the years. And obviously the school speaks for itself, but the hockey tradition and being able to recruit the high end hockey player, whether they're draft picks or, a Sam Malinsky type that, we were fortunate to have. And Benny was a big part of that. And it attracts hockey players, but it also attracts students. And when you get those two things together, they're easy to coach.
Right.
They're motivated. We're not having to tell kids what to do 6-7 different times. Give them 1 or 2 directions and guidelines, and the ones that are motivated, they take care of it. And those are the guys that have success on the ice, or the guys that have success off the ice. And where you say it's so nice, you don't want to leave it, because once you get going, it works. And obviously Shafe was here 30 years, and then some. It works, right? And kids are attracted to that. And, there's a lot of other places that, are great, but for what we have here, it's the player, the kid, the family that chooses to come here. It's a great combination and an unbelievable fit, and it's just fun to coach.
Right.
We were talking before. Boy, my short-term memory is not firing right now. I don't know if we were recording or not. I think we've only been recording for 5 minutes, but in any event, or if you were even on the line at this yet, but we were talking about.
Are you going to ask what I think you're going to ask?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. But just like, Cornell having won so many ECAC championships, like over the years, in terms of like why, like I get it how some schools are just like perhaps more like athletically inclined, if you will, or just have like a bigger part of that fabric. But like, are there any things in particular that you would kind of like call out that Cornell's got going for it in terms of like hockey or maybe athletics broadly, as to why you've just been like, one of the more dominant schools in the ECAC?
I do. Like it's the rink, it's the atmosphere. I mean, it is incredible.
Insane.
Like I went to St. Lawrence, right? And played here 4 times in my college career, and still remember it as a player. It was awesome.
Wow.
Playing here, even though you go into an opposing team's rink and sometimes you hate it, it sucks, or it's hard, but you always enjoyed it. You knew it would be hard, it would be a battle, but it was always fun to play here. And we even hear that, in recruiting and stuff. And that's why kids are here when they come on visits, and whether they see the Harvard game or any home game that's, they've been in other visits, but I want to play in front of that. And that's what we got. I mean, you can't beat that. And I think just a tradition that speaks for itself. Just the variety of different players that come through here, and throughout the years, there's we always show the ability to win.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I have a question off of that, Sean. So number one, what's with the newspapers in the stands, and what is a big red? Scott and I were talking before you got on.
Yeah, no mascot.
Where'd the bear
official
come
mascot.
from?
Touchdown, the bear has been retired. The bear logo, touchdown, the Bears mascot's still around, but the logo isn't really there anymore with the bear. But
Right.
that was just there. That was kind of touchdown, the football logo throughout. I don't know when that started, honestly.
Gotcha.
The newspapers, I don't even know the exact year that started. That's probably bad on me, but they did it when I was a player. They still do it. It's just a little bit of fans don't care. It's the line of faithful. They care about us, and they still do it. And it's funny. I get when the rinks people ask, "Hey, they still do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, they still do it."
Give some context about the newspapers to our listeners.
I was going to ask,
what's
this
newspaper I don't think
thing
Scott
all
knows
about?
what it is.
I definitely don't.
So whenever the opposing teams standing at the goal line getting ready to announce the starting lineup, the whole rink pulls out newspapers and shakes the newspapers, and then when they're done, they act like they're reading them, and they chuck them on the ice. And our rink crew's got to pick them all up.
That's so funny.
Like you said, it's a very impressive environment.
That's unreal.
They did it at the ECAC Sean, I was at the ECAC 2 years ago when you guys beat St. Lawrence in the final. And that's the first time I noticed the newspaper, Scott, because the fans brought them to Lake Placid.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
great.
holy crap. I'm like, what is the deal with this? Then I looked it up, and that's exactly what I found out. What you just described.
That is so funny.
It's the line of faithful. So
it's impressive. Very impressive.
Wow. So Cornell, obviously had a tough end to this season, but obviously looking forward to you guys coming back strong. Wanted to, before we talk more about that, just kind of dive into your playing career. Obviously this is Crazy Hockey Dads, and so it's always interesting to hear what it was like for people that achieved high, success in the game of ice hockey, like what it was like for them as a kid. And you've gone on to coach, and it'd just be interesting to hear more about like what it was like for you to go through it, either with tough coaches, parent, or tough parents, and any of the above.
Yeah, no, and it's funny recalling, the time we did this before up in Lake Placid, and obviously I knew we were going to talk about it again, and I'm just recalling everything I said because it's a neat question to be able to answer, because it makes me think back, right? And that's kind of what I think hockey's all about. It's through family. My dad coached me and my brother on our teams, and my buddy's dads coached us. I grew up in a small town in Canton, New York, right where St. Lawrence is. I had an uncle that coached the men's team at St. Lawrence as an assistant, took over the women's team, PJ, and my other uncle, Mark Taylor, is still the head coach at Hobart. I saw your hat right there. I love it. And certainly what he's doing and is incredible. And I can't believe they didn't get that fourth one this year. I was there.
I was there. Sean, I was there.
I was there, and my other buddy who used to coach for him told me I was the reason, because it was the only one I'd been able to make, and they lost. So,
oh man,
well, you were there too. I didn't realize that. I would have had a drink with you.
Yeah. So I guess I gotta not go next year when he does make it again. So, but anyway, like I, grew up in the hockey family, and we just, where I was from was a small town. We played hockey together, played, lacrosse together, every sport imaginable together, and we're just young athletes in our town, and it was just fun. And then from there, played high school hockey, went over to play junior B in Akwesasne there, before playing for the Cornwall Colts, the CCHL. Did 3 years of that. So 12th grade, my senior year, and then 2 years after, and then went to St. Lawrence. And obviously growing up in that small town, it was really all I knew. Wanted to do that, and was fortunate to get the opportunity with Joe and Wellesley and Bobby, Hurley, to be able to do that was incredible. My brother and I got to play together for a year, be at school together for 2, and play together,
awesome.
For a year. So that was pretty darn cool to be able to do that with him. He was way better. He was an All-American, Hobie finalist, and all that. But it was incredible to be able to do that.
Wow. So, I mean, but just as you're like describing it, it just seems like the path seemed pretty smooth. Just like, in terms of like small town, there wasn't a lot of like maybe like outside noise. Perhaps there weren't like a lot of different clubs to choose from. You had, parent, family, and that was coaching, so you kind of stuck the path of what was right there. I'm wondering, in terms of like, the fact that you're, there's hockey in like your family's DNA, like, was there a lot of pressure on you kids to like, to practice or do more or achieve like certain things at certain times? Or is it just like, day at a time?
No, just a day at a time. There was no pressure, not from an uncle, not even from my dad. And my other one uncle helped coach high school a little bit too. Wow. And there was never any pressure. There's certainly guidance, no doubt, easy guidance, and, recommendations at certain stages of, hockey and decisions, but never any pressure to do anything, never any pressure to do this versus, play lacrosse or something like that.
Right.
I think that's why, there still is a lot of athletes that come out of, the North Country. It's smaller, and it's changed throughout the years. Don't get me wrong. It's very different, but, it's just we played all these sports. We had a little bit of rest here and there from a sport. And I think that's a little bit what's missing these days is there's a ton of pressure to go 12 months a year, which I think is ridiculous. I love hearing kids that are playing different sports once in a while in the summer when they're 14, 15, 16, heck, even 17. Like I say, there's no pressure. They get away from the game and they don't lose the fun of it. I just think this game's fun. You watch the guys, 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whenever the game 6 was there when, Carolina won. I mean, you guys are playing for the best trophy in sports. They're having the time of their lives. Like,
right.
Sure, there's pressure, but I mean, there's just big kids out there, and the ones that are having the most fun, you watch them, they're having the most success.
Right.
Yeah. So it looks like the coach is having the most fun too.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. When you get a guy like that behind the bench, it's hard not to play.
100%. Every time they would go to him, like during, like, when they come back from a commercial and he's got just like the chiseled face and the intense eyes and he's chewing his gum, I'm like, oh my God, this guy is insane. But
I wonder how he keeps ripping his shirt off to hold the cup up. I mean, every time I see him on Instagram, he's got his shirt off holding the cup up.
They're probably pre-cut at this time.
Maybe.
Anyway, but I wanted to ask, like, all right, so there wasn't a ton of pressure. So it sounds like, it was just like another day in the life of, in a great way. At what point was there a point where you realized like your potential or like how far you might be able to take this? And like, did you start putting more pressure on yourself to kind of, or did you ever, I guess when you were thinking like going D1 or like however it was like for you as you started getting older?
Yeah, I think I did put a lot more pressure. I think I put more pressure on myself than my brother, to compare. And I I think if I do it again, I wouldn't put as much pressure on myself personally. I would try to keep a little bit more of the fun. Like, hey, you're here because you've enjoyed it so much. It's you're 19, you're 20, you're in college. Like this should be even more fun. And I think I put a little bit too much pressure on myself, and I went through some injury stuff too, which I didn't probably handle the right way looking back on it. But it's funny you asked that question because I know I put too much personal pressure and shouldn't have been there. So I just kept going and enjoying every day and working hard at it, not really caring about the outcome piece of it so much.
Right.
Nobody did it to me other than, myself, and probably cared a little bit too much on it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Sean. So with that being said, when you talk to kids, what do you say to the kids you're recruiting who you notice that are putting a ton of pressure on themselves? What do you say to those kids that you notice that they're putting a truckload of pressure on themselves?
Yeah, and I try to bring it up and say this is supposed to be fun. And I tell them our best players, even the best players that I've been able to coach in college, are the ones that did have the most fun Monday to Thursday, that had the most fun in the gym, worked the hardest, and still left with a smile, even on bad days. Made jokes about themselves, like, "Boy, I'm having a bad day out here today." I'm like, "Yeah, but just stay with it. We're gonna,
right.
You're into it. You're just having a rough go." But those are the guys that can, just recover from a mistake, right? You use that.
Yes.
What's the Ted Lasso, right? Goldfish, like Jones.
Yeah,
be
goldfish.
A goldfish, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Forget quickly.
It's so corny, but it's true. Like, if you're gonna dwell on things, you're not gonna recover at all. And I think that's something we talk about to kids, is even when if they're young kids visiting, or if they're out of high school and they're visiting, like, our guys have the most fun here, and they have the most fun when they leave. So.
Yeah. What do you guys do to keep it that way as a coaching staff? Are there things that you guys do to kind of keep it that way?
Yeah, I mean, we start our year with, a real close trip, team trip. Started a weekend to make sure guys are getting to know each other, away from the rink before everything obviously comes together on the ice, right? But I think we do a lot of culture pieces to it, where guys are able to just, talk, get to know each other, because obviously they're here to play hockey and we're here to win and develop. But the best teams I've been around are the guys that are the closest, that push each other, that hold each other, accountable to do things the right way. And some of that's it's not hockey related. It's just personality and getting to know each other and who people really are. who they are and why they maybe are what they they
Yeah,
do and
what they're
how
made
they
of.
are, what they're
Yeah,
made of, and that sort of thing. And then
yeah,
getting to know the kids on the team, getting to know the team, is some of the biggest parts of it.
Hmm.
yeah.
So, in terms of, having like high character kids is obviously like an important piece in all this. And I think you alluded to that in the beginning where like, you're obviously getting motivated kids, which doesn't necessarily speak to character per se, but um, I'm kind of curious about like the evaluation process. Like when you're looking at recruits, clearly there's the on ice piece, but then like, a little bit of the off ice piece. Um, like I'm assuming that there's a good amount of stock that's placed in like, what, from the interviews, kind of like when you're talking to potential recruits, like, is this person a good fit, like from an off ice perspective? Kind of what's that like, you know, for players that are going through it? Are you asking like direct questions? Is it something that like you're just kind of observing and getting a feel while they're on like visits?
Yes, all of the above.
All of it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously watching, the on ice evaluation piece, right? Whether they can have the things that we feel they need to have to be a part of our program from a hockey standpoint, right? But I still think some of the biggest deciding factors of things, like some kids can have all the talent and ratings and all that, but I think it all still comes down to the type of kid they are. Like just what kind of kid, they are. Like what are they made of? And you really got to peel back the onion a lot on that sometimes. I mean, sometimes a kid comes across and he's oozing, what you're looking for, right? Other times you got to peel it back a little more, make a few more calls, and from previous coaches, find people who maybe known him who's a hockey guy, or um, just try to figure it out. And I think yes, a visit's huge. The more time
Yeah.
you can spend around them, the better. Is there a comfort level? How do they? Biggest thing is how do they treat their mom or their dad? When they're on a visit, who
Oh,
does the
interesting.
talking? Um,
Right.
who's asking the questions? A lot of that's a big piece of putting it all together. And I gotta go back to it. It's not all the time the talent piece of it. It's the family piece of it. It's the kid piece of it.
Right. And
Yeah.
and so like kind of pulling on that same thread, what as far from like a parent's perspective, or not from a parent's perspective, but do you believe that there's any like reoccurring misconceptions that like parents have about like what coaches value?
Probably. I mean, they probably think it's just points.
Yeah,
They probably do. I mean, yes, points is a big thing. Don't get me wrong. Doesn't tell the whole story though. It
sure.
really doesn't. There's certain pieces to a team that need to go into play, and sometimes the most valuable piece of a team that's a winning championship program sometimes isn't always the top point guy, whether it's a forward, a D, or even a goalie. Like it's some guys in between that maybe hold it all together that
Yeah.
nobody would have thought would have played on that type of team, but they fit. And
Right.
I think it just comes down to that fit piece too. And I don't think a lot of people, in the stands maybe see that at the
Hmm.
times. They see the flashiness, right? But
Right.
some of that peeling back the onion, I call it, is finding the right type of kid and the right type of fit for certain programs.
Hmm.
So I'm curious, going back to what you said about, who does the most talking and how they talk to their parent. What are some red flags? And I think we actually touched on this up in Lake Placid. Um, what are the things that you see that parents do on whether the parents are in the stands and you're watching their kid in the stands, or parents that come on the recruiting trip? What are some red flags that you've seen from some parents of kids that you're recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, everyone can see the one in the stands type thing, but it differs a little bit, I guess, with how old the kid is. Is he, just say a 2010 this year after January 1 that comes on your campus or something? Is a young kid, he may not talk as much as a parent at times in terms of the question because it's young, right?
Yeah.
The older they get, I think it probably like to have the kid, do a little bit more of the talking and engaging. But I definitely, like when the kid is more engaged and answering certain questions. You can kind of tell when a kid's taking it all in, or you can kind of tell when a kid maybe doesn't like something they're seeing.
Hmm.
But I definitely we don't like probably when a parent dominates the visit. Where it seems like maybe they're the one on the visit. It's like, we're recruiting your kid to be here. We want to talk to him. We want to hear what his
Right.
questions are, and it's
Right.
refreshing when a parent sometimes steps back, or kind of looks at their kid and is like, I'm not answering it. They've asked you. It's refreshing. I think parents are a big part of it, and especially for us in the Ivy, it's a family investment. No matter where they go, it's an investment piece of it. So the parents are a huge piece of it. It's a family decision to come here. They're all a part of it, but certainly when families are together, you get a pretty good feel for things, whether it's maybe the right fit or maybe the wrong fit. But it's something we really like to do.
What's like the biggest red flag you've seen, Sean, from a parent that you were like, whoa, like
a story?
Cross off.
Yeah, when they just start talking negative about other teammates or coaches or other people, like it's just like we didn't want to go there, but you went there, and this is weird. Like that we're here about you, and we don't need to talk about everybody else. So
that's actually yeah,
that is pretty bad.
Yeah. But so one of the things that has also come up this weekend is, and Jamie, I won't take your story, but in terms of like, getting seen, if you're
you can tell them what happened to me. You could tell my story. No worries.
Well, no, I mean, whatever. Dominic's at like a showcase this weekend where there's, I think there's college and like prep school, people there. I don't know, like scouts and whoever else. But my question is in terms of like being seen at like, various events, like, around the country. Is that something that like during this time of year, like Cornell specifically, you're going to showcases? And you mentioned like a USA showcase, but are you going to other ones that might be put up by like, I don't know, private companies or?
We have here and there. I think you could probably go somewhere every weekend if you wanted to.
Right.
But it is summer, right? So it's not I don't call it real hockey. I mean, you can see kids play, you can evaluate certain things, but nobody's playing on their real team. No one's really playing for a championship or things like that. It might be a tournament, right? But you're not playing with your buddies from September to April, right? It's different. So you can go and identify certain players, but it's not. Again, it's not real hockey. But yes, we go to certain things. People invite us to. We'll go to some here and there, but we don't go all over the place. Colleges have their certain prospect camps and invite some kids in. It's a different way of recruiting. We do that too. It's just another way, another tool, and whatnot to see kids who maybe have interest that you never didn't really know of, that want to come to your your campus for a couple of days.
Sure.
That's nice to do. But certainly, like you say, it's not real hockey, but you can see kids and identify some kids.
Right.
It's interesting, Sean. So I'll expand upon that a little bit because I want to ask you a question about it. So Dominic is I'm in a hotel right now, if you could tell. I'm in the lobby of a hotel. So we went, it's funny. I was kind of joking with Scott earlier. We got an email from like, Sacred Heart, like the Pioneer Experience of Sacred Heart. Right. And Sean, I swear to God, I thought it was hockey camp. Like I thought he was going to be like all day. And last night I happened to look up like what exactly I paid for and what I was bringing him to. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, there's prep school coaches and like a bunch of colleges are here. I don't think you guys weren't on the list. No. But I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, this is like a showcase. So here's my question. So Dominic's a 2012, my son. So there's 12s and 11s together. And then there's 10s through 06s. Okay. So my question is at what point or what age do you guys actually start paying attention to kids? Obviously I'm assuming you don't go to Mike games and go, oh wow, that kid's going to be really good when he's 16, right? So at what age do you guys start paying attention?
Like right now, probably we're getting some names of 2011s, we can't talk to them, right? But to, tag in the system for the future, when that January 1 of grade 10, when they get to 15s, you really start watching them. So those are the names we're getting. Younger than that, no, we don't really pay attention to that. And like I say, barely paying attention to 11s and not watching it. Other than, they can come to a camp or see him at a camp, but mainly just talking to 2010s that are of age from January 1 on, and starting that's the focus now, 10s, 9s, 8s, and obviously the older kids that are, in junior hockey.
So you can talk to kids that are sophomores in high school essentially right now, right? That's when you can start talking.
Yeah, so basically a normal 2010 on January 1, if they're in 10th grade, you can start talking to them.
Okay, so that's how it works.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's all interesting. So in terms of your process and like identifying players, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just thinking through like, obviously each program, there's, in terms of like, you have to, well, maybe you don't have to, but what am I trying to say? Like, there's got to be some sense of like pragmatism, like, about who you're going to go after and who you're going to talk to, and if it's going to vary from school to school, like how like the names that you're starting to get, like, are they just referrals from people that have been like in your network that know the kind of like player you're looking for? Like, how does that even, like, how do you even start putting like, certain names on the list? Like what boxes are they checking?
Yeah, I mean, between advisors and things like that, you do get a lot of names set your way. Hey, think this kid's a real good player. Obviously, most people know the grades that it does take to get into, an Ivy school and Cornell. And for us, it's going out to games. It's going to, do our own work too, right? With our own eyes, seeing what we see, hearing what we hear, putting it all together. But definitely, this game's a huge part of it is the relationship piece, through coaches and midget teams, prep teams, junior teams. Hey, I think this guy's a great fit. Once you've had a kid maybe come from their program, go to you, have success, another kid does, like, hey, who else you got? Like, this seems to be working. And this is a path that's worked now for a couple. Like, let's keep going back here until something breaks. That's a huge piece of it, because as much as we're adding coaches, right, to a point, you still can't cover everything with your own eyes. You just can't. The birth years and leagues now, you can't. So even with the video, it's you see more, but you can't cover everything, and you got to rely on recommendations and follow up. Like I said, a lot of calls, tons of calls. To whoever you can to see who might have seen him, or who knows the kid, who knows the family. Yeah.
So do you have like is there like any kind of like rule of thumb, like for if you wanted to I don't know, recruit 6 players, do you have like an idea like how many conversations you need to have to land on 6 players that are going to be like viable candidates?
Too many to probably
too many, like a ton.
Like a lot, right? And everyone's got a different process to it of, hey, I see this kid, I've decided real quick we want him, and it all works, grades, finances, the background, calls, research, and all that. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it starts, it pauses, then it picks up, a year later. I think that's the neat thing about hockey is there's so many different timelines and development paths for kids. I don't think it's like any other sport. I've never coached or recruited another sport, but I just don't think it's like any other sports in terms of the recruiting process. It's just totally different, which makes it fun, right? But it's I really don't even want to guess how many calls or
that's unbelievable
we got to make to get our class, or whoever it ends up being, whoever ends up actually coming in, like how it all unfolded. If you were to go back and rerun it all, you'd be like, holy smokes, that was a lot.
It's a large number.
Yeah.
Do you have one story of like, so you've obviously been recruiting for a long time. So you started at Hobart, and then you kind of, made your way to Cornell. So you've been doing this for a long time. Do you have a story of a kid that you were recruiting that you just didn't think was going to work out, and like all of a sudden then it did, or vice versa? You thought a kid was like 100% coming, and then it kind of fell by the wayside. Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
I mean, I could think of a bunch really that fit into that.
Or what's the craziest recruiting story that you have? Not to put you on the spot, but
no, a little bit. Like there's so many. I'm trying to think of like a good one, a funny one. I will put one out there. And it actually, shockingly enough, it involves Ben. He sent me on a trip. He sent me on a trip one time to go watch a kid, and the kid wasn't very good, unfortunately. And I joked with him, does he know I'm here? And he's like, no, he doesn't know you're here. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Like, the kid didn't know I was here. He wasn't good. We kind of avoided, like, kind of knowing you're there, right? It's one of those that happens, right? And we had gotten a name and all that. So we were joking that he was mad at me and sent me out somewhere. But the best part of that is the next kid he told me to go watch, and it was all him, is Sam Malinsky, and he is the same trip. The next place he sent me to go see was to go watch that kid, and he did the legwork on that, but that transpired pretty well for that kid.
Yes.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's so funny. I can only imagine how many times that happens where like both either don't meet or exceed expectations. I bet and that's also another thing, like, like from just a recruiting perspective, that like people are looking for different things, or like things that are more important to you might not be as important to the next guy. I mean, obviously there's a baseline for it all, but the whole process is just, wow, it seems tireless and endless, and it's unbelievable. Just thinking about this makes me really have an appreciation for what you guys have to do.
Yeah. No, and then you got me thinking too. Like, there's the ones you're like, oh, I knew that kid was going to be good, and we got him, right. And then there's the one where you're like, oh, I don't know if that kid's going to be good. I'm going to wait and hesitate. And then you're like, oh man, like, should have went my gut. It should have went my gut on that one, But it's legalized gambling. Like, it's you don't know, and that's the fun part of it, the chase part of it. And when you get them right and the kids succeed, it's incredible. And it's why it's a fun job.
Well, let me ask like this part, like, and just thinking about how, going like flipping over to the NHL for a second, two names, like you had Keandre Miller that came from the Rangers, right? And like ended up winning a cup, became a much more consistent player when he was down in Carolina, right? You had, who else? Taylor Hall, another one that was like getting scratched from Chicago.
You had
and then also from Chicago.
Yeah.
And yeah, right. Seth Jones. So like you have these players that like aren't performing under certain conditions, right? But then they go to another team. Is there anything that, are you thinking about that as well when you're looking at players, kind of like what our systems are and like how that person is going to fit in those systems? I'm assuming it is, but just curious if, what it's like for you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's certain kids you're like, I like this kid, but I don't know if he would survive. I don't know if he would really fit with us, right?
Right.
And they go somewhere else, they have success, which is fine. And then, there's some kids that have success with us that people thought, well, how'd you get that out of that kid? I didn't see that coming. It's like, well, he just fit. He's our type of player. He got better. He worked, like he fit into the culture piece, and he worked at it. So it's funny where you mentioned those guys, like the pros, the best of the best. They're talented, right? But getting in the right environment, sometimes a change of scenery just does it for guys. It happens in college, and obviously it happens in pros and trades and all that all the time, and their cap and the money, there's so many factors into it. But yes, it's what you're thinking about with those guys is the same as college. That kid that might fit here just doesn't fit there. He didn't fit there, and he goes to this place. You're like, what happened? Like, well, he just fit better.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Yeah. I'm curious, Sean. What do you think of this new the new 5-for-5 rule? Since we're talking about recruiting and kind of like timelines, what do you think of the new 5-for-5 rule that's coming out with the NCAA?
Thank goodness they tweaked it and went back with like hockey's proposed, right? Because I think everyone was in panic mode. Because I think it would have crushed hockey if it stayed that way. But I think what we've got now is fine. Some late birthday kids may benefit from it depending how they finalize and tweak it. I don't think you'll see many of the 21-year-old freshmen, which is fine. I think most kids should be going in by 20 and graduating by 23 and 24 anyway.
Right.
So I'm okay with it. I think we all know it now. We can all plan for it, and I think it's the best case scenario for hockey. So moving forward, we're happy with it. And talked with Casey, who was a big proponent of this too, and making sure we were able to do this. And our commissioner Doug was a huge part, and doing a ton of background work and legwork on it too. So hockey community kind of really got together for this one and pushed it, and thankfully
they kind of went to war over it.
Went to war, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably something, it's a good thing we had enough people that cared to really push forward for it, because I think it's going to help college in general. Like that's what they all wanted, right? For the football, basketball, we know that, and they're getting what they want out of that, and we're also keeping our sport, on the right trajectory and paths open for kids.
So I'm curious. So it's keeping with that same topic. So you used to have the kid who graduated, who maybe did like a reclass year in 8th grade or like a post grad or something like that out of high school, and then went to play, let's say, 2 years of juniors. Okay, so that kid now can't do that, because that kid, if he does that, the 2 years of juniors, he'll only have 3 years of eligibility in college, right? Would you guys take a kid for 3 years?
You may it's harder, especially at a school like ours to kind of make up those certain classes to do in 3. It's been done. You guys could do it.
Right.
I think it's just a little harder planning wise and whatnot. But I think now I don't know if you'll see as many kids forcefully repeat. I could be wrong, but
they'll probably come out of high school a year early and start playing.
Yeah, they
juniors
could.
early,
They
no?
may get going early, play juniors early. I think you'll see a few different tweaks there, but for the most part, the normalcy, you can stay as you are, and still get your 5, or you play 2 and you get 4. 4 years is enough for for college hockey or even college sports. But
Right.
the 5th is built in, of course, for the injuries or any other random things that can obviously occur.
Right.
And whatnot. But I think it's the best case scenario where everything's at.
Do you think it hurts the late bloomer? Because if you do so say you do the 2 junior years to play 4, you obviously have to come out a year early of high school. Do you think the late bloomer is kind of hurt in this kind
No,
of scenario? No?
no, and I think they could have. I don't want to quote it because I'm not writing it. I don't know when they're actually coming out with the fine print, but it could, depending on how they call that 19th birthday, like the following academic year, that kid could benefit in the long run. We'll see how they twist the verbiage on that.
Right.
But that kid could actually benefit here. But I still think those kids turn out just fine once they catch up at 19, 20. Like we've had a ton of them on our team being late birthdays, and kind of a little niche we got, but it works. Those kids find their way, and I think this rule actually will be okay for that.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So just speaking about like, the change, or not necessarily the change in like the development paths, but like just thinking about like, how families are thinking about their steps down the way in terms of like, where you're looking or coming across players in terms of like, kind of those feeding pools. Are there, like, you're looking a lot of kids that are playing like junior, like you're looking at a lot of kids that are playing like midgets, like where like kind of where are the different like touch points for you in terms of like looking for like recruits?
Yeah, it's everywhere,
Again, it's
through
everywhere.
through
Yeah.
midget hockey, prep hockey, all the top junior leagues that we're recruiting, USHL, NAHL, obviously OQ and Dub are now in play now too.
Part of it also.
Yeah, it's just like I say, we can recruit younger kids because we need transcripts, and some kids, we identify early that we know we're willing to step up with. And then there's obviously the kids that now, some kids do want to wait longer with a longer runway, which is fine. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to cover, but it's again, it's great because there's more players for us, selfishly, of course, to be able to work through. But I think at the end of the day, it is beneficial. Where college hockey's getting a lot of really good hockey players, and we always did, and we're getting a few more, each year coming from those leagues, whether U.S. or Canada. Their kids are playing in those leagues now too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And One of the things that I remember we talked about a little bit when we were in Lake Placid, but part of what also struck me, just thinking more critically about just like a collegiate hockey experience or a sports experience for that matter, is that like at some point, like you've got kids walking in the door that probably are determined that I'm going to go on to play whatever the next level of hockey is. But then there's got to be points along people's paths where they're just like, you know what, actually, maybe that's not what I'm going to do. What's it like from a coach's perspective to help, like balancing, or not balancing necessarily, but like helping kids, like figure out their next steps, like after college? And like, if someone decides I'm not going to play hockey after college, right? Like, or do you have challenges keeping them motivated during the season if they've it's kind of flipped their switch, switch is flipped and they're just like, you know what, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life?
No, and I think that's the neat part about where we are is the kids stay motivated hockey wise because we're always in the hunt championship wise every year, and we've always had guys that elevate from within from one year to the next. So there's never, and to a point, maybe certain guys know, all right, I might not be beating these guys out, but they're still involved in our culture and they know it's a piece to have everybody show up every single day. And the other piece to that is they're here for their education too, and the best of both worlds. And, being here as a student athlete is something that, if hockey's not working out and professionally after college, then they've been a part of a program, a winning program, a recognized program. And, you guys know in the workforce too is, if you're part of those programs, you get a little bit of a nod, right? You're part of these, you're a student athlete at a high end, school and program, you made it through and you did all this, like it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit, since you have a 4-year-old that's kind of wheeling around the ice these days. So now you're a hockey dad, right? So not a hockey coach, but you're also a hockey dad. So I know you're not too heavily into it yet because she's still young and your little guy's even younger. But what would you say are the mistakes that you see, hockey parents, whether it's the mom or the dad, because there's some crazy hockey moms too. What would you say are the major mistakes you see youth parents making these days with their kids?
Just kind of getting into it, like you said, but just hearing, listening, from, guys that I've worked at, to Benny Deshay for, Casey too, if both his kids, are older now, but just listening to some of the development and stories along the way is, I think, pushing kids. And I guess I'm going right back to being at the young age now, like pushing kids. I don't think my wife or I pushed her to go. She wanted to go. We threw her out. She loved it. She likes it. There's been days she didn't want to go, so we didn't force her to go. And there's been days she says, I'm going. And then we get ready to go, and she says, you're not going. It's like, okay, but you did say you're going. She's like, oh, yeah, I did. Right. So we go. But, I've kind of let her
drive
do as she wishes to a point. If she commits to it, we're gonna do it, but we're not forcing her to go do something every single day or making it like that. It's, letting her have her space and her time with it. And I think that keeps the fun of it. But the burnout piece is probably the biggest word. And that's probably my fear is I don't want to burn my kids out of a sport, let alone hockey. And I that's my biggest fear that I think is occurring, is burnout of kids at a young age, of just the pure fun of it, where when they put the pressure on, or they feel the parental pressure and they don't want to do it anymore.
Becomes a job.
Yeah.
Do you come up?
Too young.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
The kids are too young.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some, like without like any specific stories, but like you hear them all the time of like parents that are just going so far above and beyond what is even seeming reasonable just for their kid to get more, like, and it's usually with high end stuff, right? Like traveling all over the place to get to like this tournament team or this tryout, or it's just like unreal. There were stories, not stories. I mean, there are stories, but it's also real that, here in New Jersey, there, of at least one player that was like my son's birth year that like they lived in Jersey, but their primary team was in Massachusetts, in northern Massachusetts.
Look at Sean's face.
So like they would train at a rink, like, however many days a week, do online school, and then just like as I don't know, there was like fourth and fifth grade, like traveling to Massachusetts, you know, like this is not unheard of, you know, and it's wild.
Yeah. And I guess like, again, where I grew up is a small town and you had
Right.
you know, so it's hard for me to imagine that. And that's where probably my facial expression wasn't great there, but
Yeah.
it's hard for me to imagine that, right? Like it just is, you know, you had fields, you played right there. You had ice, you played right there. You had people coaching you, you
Right.
had it right there. And I think that's part of the problem and the burnout is you gotta go run here, you gotta run there. You're FOMO, you're afraid you're gonna miss
Right.
something. And you know, you're not, especially at that age. You know, that's my biggest fear, like you said about, you know, what do I see is the burnout piece of, you know, forcing a kid to have to go here and there. Like, how are they supposed to be a kid when you're going from here to
Exactly.
there all the time? Like, you're spending more time in the car than you need. And I go back to myself when I was, you know, 17. I spent more time in the car playing too much hockey and kind of two teams at once. And if I look back now, I would never ever do that again. And
Interesting.
you know, let alone with young, you know, 10, 11,
Even
12
younger.
kids are doing some of that. I think it's too much. I think they need to have fun with it, and I think it takes away the fun. It has to over a certain time. And don't get me wrong, like you know, I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying don't train. I'm not saying any of that. Like, you got to work hard. You got to put in the time and be committed to it. But I do think sometimes the distances are wild, and the expense pieces are getting crazy. And
Yeah.
I just fear it. I fear that it could price, you know, people out of the sport.
For
Oh,
sure.
it definitely does. There's no
Yeah.
question about it. I think a lot of people. I think I think hockey has a retention problem, right?
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't have a registration problem since registrations are all up, but I definitely has a retention problem. I think parents get sick of it. They
Yeah.
get sick
Yeah.
of the traveling. They get sick of the money. They get sick of everything. They get sick of the stress because there is stress on hockey parents. I know you don't have it yet, Sean. you know, but we've talked to Tapper, and Tapper even says he's like, I know better. He's like, and I feel the stress. And same with Connor and Kellen Jones. They've
Yep.
seen it, you know, and their kids
Yeah.
are similar age, a little older than your kids. You know, you'll see it's coming, Sean. It's you know, and it makes you second guess what you know is right. You know,
Yep.
you know, so it's it's wild, is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so all right, so you're a proponent of playing like, all right. So I'm curious. Your kids play the season. When the season's over, you're going to have them put their bags away and go play baseball or basketball or soccer or whatever it is. They're going to go do something else for that other
I
season.
I do envision that, yes,
Yeah,
especially when they're younger. I would love them to play a different sport, put it away, forget about it. Not for, you know, forget about it, but
but
like,
put it
you know,
away.
hey, let's try something else. Be an athlete.
Right.
Um, you know, I know there's studies on that, and it's not everybody, right? Some of the best have never played another sport, right? But all the kids are different, and
Right.
I will be a proponent of that. Hey, all right, hockey's done. Let's go to soccer, go to t-ball, or do something different, right? So you kind of get away, and you don't get stuck doing the same thing at a young age forever. And I do think that leads to the burnout. I think it leads to the chronic injury type stuff. I'm
The
not
hip
a
flexor
doctor at
stuff,
all, but
and yeah.
been
Yeah.
around it enough personally and seen enough that I do feel that it's a piece of it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. How many of the kids on your team, Scott? And then I'll let you take the next one.
No,
I'm
good.
curious. The kids that are on your roster right now, what percentage of them do you think were multi-sport athletes?
Half for sure,
Okay.
Yeah.
at least
That's not
half.
surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And you know, I go back to it too. Like, it's probably because I played lacrosse and loved it too. But we've got a bunch of guys on our team that have played lacrosse. I
Yeah.
love hearing that recruiting process. So
You like
yeah.
you like the athletes when you guys
I
are
do.
looking at a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much value in it. Just the unfortunate part is, and I don't think anyone ever says I'm not playing another sport because there's no value in it. It's just it also becomes hard because, like, I remember for my son, he was playing like he would play soccer and he would play other sports, but then like as like tier one hockey got like more demanding, he was like less available, and like at some point, like the coaches are like, I need your kid to show up to practice. You know what I mean? And obviously, like, duh. But it's just it all gets too serious at such a young age, and you have to, you know, it was really. it was really hard for us to figure some other sports that like he could keep on doing, like, during, like, obviously during hockey season. Spring's a different story, but it's super hard. But I wanted to ask about the burnout piece and just ask if, like, in at the Cornell locker room, like, kids have gotten like that far. Do you come across kids that like burn out like right in front of your eyes?
Yeah.
You do.
Wow. Even
Yeah.
at the collegiate level.
And then
Yeah.
like
I think,
what does that look like? And like what are some of the root
um,
causes, if like there's anything that in particular that stands out?
no, I just think, you know, yeah, burnout, like in the sense they've maybe maxed out. They've gotten like their ability, they care, they work, but they've kind of got to a level that they're they're not going to get better. They're not going to beat those guys out. And there's some guys coming maybe behind them that are going to pass them to a point. And I call that burnout, but they got to the point where like it's kind of, uh, they're not at the level they used to be when they were younger. Like others
Mm,
kind of caught up and surpassed. And uh, that's maybe a different term than your burnout piece, but
sure.
the burnout piece is for sure does happen when kids just like, hey, they mentally like they can't bring it every day anymore, right? It's become too much for them, and obviously their play suffers because of that.
Yeah,
But so there's two different forms, I guess, that maybe I'm talking about there.
Like a mental
sure.
checkout and then maybe like a
Yeah,
physical one.
yeah, and you don't know, the kids don't know, and it's tough. But again, I think it's a good place for that. Sometimes that does happen. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen a lot.
Right.
But I've seen it. You get
Yeah,
around it long enough, you're going to see different phases of that.
sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because I could imagine just like even going like anytime you jump, right, from like from one age group to the next age group or the next skill level, like those jumps have got to be like take, like there's, people are just like, whoa, I didn't think it was gonna be this hard. Or like, and maybe they're not up for the challenge. I don't
Yeah,
know that happens at the, for your experiences, but yeah, it's got to be interesting to see and like have to coach through that, because obviously you're all making an investment in each other. So it's like the mental performance piece, like part of like the programming at Cornell.
yeah. I mean, we talk to our kids a lot,
Yeah.
individually, just how they're doing, how they holding up. Like anything we got to talk about, whether it's school, whether it's personal, try to check in to see where everybody's at in that regard, as much as possible for sure, because it is a big piece. Like
Yeah.
it's like uh, mental piece is a huge part of how kids are able to perform. Whether they're able to keep their studies up, whether they're able to keep their play up. It's just it's a huge piece. All the
Yeah.
talent, all the ability. Like what's going on with this with this kid? Something's going on.
Right.
Yeah. It's different. When we were kids, that wasn't a thing. You were just told to
No.
kind of suck it up, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't it wasn't like a thing. You just didn't, it just wasn't a thing. And now everybody has a mental performance coach,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, which is, yeah. So do you guys have one on staff, Sean? Do you guys have like a mental performance coach on staff?
Our athletics department does. Our players and any athlete can use
Hmm.
that if they'd like to, for sure. And I do think we do a pretty good job of touching base with our guys, and
Oh,
there's certain referrals and things that we've had with our guys in the past for that. I do think a good part of our program is that our guys feel open. They know they should be able to come in and talk to us about the hard things, and certainly maybe it takes longer for younger guys or certain guys to do that. But I do know over the years, I think we really try to emphasize that a lot. That it's all right, we're not perfect, and we got to be
right.
able to hear some things and talk through some hard stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what does a Cornell recruit look like? What checks all
You
the
know,
boxes?
if we're going through the five S's here that I've kind of learned through the years a little bit, is hockey sense. For us, you got to have hockey sense. Got to be able to skate. Spirit piece is huge. Spirit, compete, whatever you want to call it. Skill. Got to be able to certainly make plays to a point. I think and then the last thing that's always huge piece is the size, right? I mean, If a guy's bigger, hey, that's great. Love size. We're the big red. Everyone thinks we're always huge, right? But we've certainly mixed in our our small guys over the years too, that everybody seems to forget about until they look and like, oh yeah, that guy was pretty small and he's pretty good.
Topher Scott may have a problem with that last S, Sean.
Yeah. And that's where it doesn't matter, right? Or you look at Logan Stankov in there and Blake, like you hear about those guys, right? And they're dominant. So I think that last piece is a little bit of that outlier, but certainly those guys have the go. They got the engines, and I think that's where the spirit piece certainly takes over that some of that size department. But as you know, big is nice as long as you can skate and think it and make some plays too. So
yeah, you can't teach it, can you?
No. But those guys like Stankov, and it also makes me like think of Freddie Lundberg also, who's been a bit of a journeyman in the NHL, but just seeing these like smaller guys that are just like all over the ice, just covering so much ground, like not afraid to be physical, mixing it up, just being a pain in the ass. It's like you watch those guys,
Sean Avery.
Damn, they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so Sean, we're getting we're like at the hour mark, and I just wanted to start wrapping it up because I obviously want to be respectful of your time and all that other stuff. But one of the things that I wanted to do that we did at the ECAC, although I don't have the same exact questions, we're gonna do some rapid fire.
Yeah, I remember.
It was good to bring that back. I like that.
Yeah. I wanted to bring that back.
Good move.
We should do it more often. Actually,
we should. That's a nice move.
But these are not the same questions. I don't know what I did with those, although I do remember some. I'm just going to go in a different direction. All right. So here we go. Lightning round. All right. So most overrated youth hockey trend.
Oh, good one. That's a good one.
I
don't know. Got to play AAA at EU.
Okay.
Well done.
We'll take it.
Well done.
That's a good one.
Good answer.
Most underrated skill.
Underrated skill.
And it doesn't have to be youth hockey. Whatever you think is
most least underrated skill would be picking a puck off the wall.
Off the wall. All right. All right. So the hardest building in college to play in that you guys play in.
You can't say your own.
No, that's the most fun. Hardest one to go play in. It was pretty hard to play in North Dakota a few years.
Okay.
It was fun, but it was pretty hard.
Not easy. All right. But then that said, what about favorite road rink?
In league, it's selfishly for us, it's awesome. When we play at Harvard, we get so many alums there. It's awesome.
Oh, that must be a great atmosphere.
That's definitely our, probably my favorite. Being here is we get so many alums there. It's awesome.
Nice. All right, got 3 more. Best piece of advice for hockey parents.
Enjoy the process. Let your kids enjoy.
That perfect answer.
Be guidance.
Yep. All right, best piece of advice for a 14-year-old player. Now you can bump that up. Make it like a 6. Someone that's on the verge of being recruited.
Don't compare yourself to anybody else.
Also, that's a great answer too. Okay, if every hockey parent remembered one thing, what should it be?
Your kid should, when they're done, say they had a great time playing the game. They had fun.
Yeah, those are great. Especially the comparison thing. 100%. I think that hits home hard for me.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Those are going to make our Instagram, Sean. I'm just telling you right now. They're all going to make our Instagram because they're really good answers.
Yeah.
Compares, somebody got a call. I didn't get a call. Who cares?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You're going to be hit on Instagram, Sean. I can tell already.
Oh, jeez. All right. What about so we also want to make sure for anyone that's like interested in getting in touch with, either yourself, the hockey department, Cornell, generally speaking, whatever makes sense for you, like where can people find or reach out to you?
Yeah, our emails are right on our hockey website there, and we, sometimes have a little lag in email response. Not going to lie about that, but we try to get back to everybody that does email us. We got a system. We keep track of kids or people have emailed, and it's probably the easiest form of contact for sure.
Yeah. Perfect. We'll make sure to put up a link in the show notes for the Cornell ice hockey program. James, you got anything else for Sean before we wrap this one up?
I do. I didn't want to interrupt Scott's lightning round, but I'm curious. What's the prettiest barn you've ever played in, like architecturally? Because the ECAC has a bunch of them. So and it doesn't have to be an ECAC, but I'm just curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to just my heartstrings a little bit too. Like I love St. Lawrence. I love Appleton.
I mean, sick barn. Yeah,
I grew up, loving that, and was fortunate to play there. I think it's second to none a bit. Like I love it. Love going back, and of course, and the other one I'd probably say is, I did think North Dakota's was pretty sick. I mean, totally different, and how they have that all set up there. But I thought just, didn't see any of their stuff. Don't get me wrong, but just, the marble stuff was a little different.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. I thought you were going to say like Yale or Princeton. Okay, gotcha.
And, yeah, I went out of league. I mean, I love those barns too. I picked my St. Lawrence for the old traditional one a little bit.
Great building. Yeah,
I think we are really blessed with, all of our rinks really in our league, the Yale and Hobie. I mean, just even the names of them are incredible. And I think a lot of non-conference teams that come out to play are a little bit blown away too by our rinks and how they're different, but like they're hockey rinks.
Oh yeah, they're like awesome. And they're like architectural like wonders too. They're impressive, very impressive. Yeah.
Awesome stuff, Sean. Well, listen, thanks so much for joining us again. Really appreciate it. All the best to you in the off season. Making sure you're all set for next season. Definitely looking forward to catching a game. That's for sure. We got to make a trip up to Cornell because I'm sold on going to see a game there. I need a newspaper. I need all of it.
You got it. You show up, you'll get one.
All right, good.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you, Sean.
Let us know. Let us know anytime. All right. Thanks,
guys. We're going to take you up on that too.
You bet.
All right. Have a good night, man.
See you guys.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Welcome back from the interview with Sean Flanagan, assistant coach at Cornell. Dude, love hearing from these college guys.
Yeah, Sean's great. I'm sorry that it didn't work out with him the first time, but this gave us more time with him, so I'm happy it worked out.
Yeah, no, silver lining in that one.
Yes.
But yeah, especially with these Ivy schools, it's also a different perspective because just the academic piece is so. Like, it's such a part of that experience also, right? Like they're not taking kids that are not interested in doing well in school either, right? These are all elite hockey players that 100%. Also want to be elite students.
They want to be big time students. Yeah. No, they know what they're getting themselves into.
No, for sure. But it's, but think about that. Like think about kids that go on from, these Ivies, and I'm not saying Ivies are the only ones where it's like this. I'm just whatever. We just had our interview with an Ivy, but it's just like how any kid that excels in both school and sports, and they're playing high level sports, just like hats off to them because they're certainly taking their hockey careers almost as seriously as possible while simultaneously having a second job. And I'm sure there's plenty of athletes out there that, don't have as rigorous of a workload. And, there's a spectrum for sure. But just anyone that's able to crush it on both ends, like, wow, right?
Are you trying to say that Gavin McKenna tying flies for fishing at Penn State is not like rigorous academics?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I wouldn't.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm not even hesitating on that.
So you're saying that the fly fishing class at Penn State is not like a legit academic course? You tell me you don't legit. Have fly. You don't think they have fly tying at Cornell?
No, I don't actually. Although they do have a really good agricultural school up there. Like for real, it's like legit.
Is that right?
It might be one of the top in the country.
At Cornell?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of around farmy type area, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I take that back. I have no idea how high up the ladder their agricultural school is, but my understanding is that it is quite good.
Interesting. I did not know this. How did you know that?
Well, my mother-in-law.
I'll have to ask Sean next time we have him on.
Oh yeah, yeah. My mother-in-law grew up on a dairy farm, not far from where you are right now, up in Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
And one of the farming families that's been around there for a long time, their kids um, went on to agricultural school at Cornell.
Oh,
And
okay.
they've gone on to do a lot of
Got
like
it.
really nice things like in the area. Like they have like a restaurant that and they've got other farm stands. They have a lot of property. Like they're just doing some really cool stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, just that's my understanding.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Jones Family Farm, I think it's called, in Shelton, Connecticut.
Okay. Got it. Jones
Yeah.
Family Farm. Okay. Nice. I like it. What do they produce? Do they make like with like milk for like ice cream? Like what are we talking here?
Oh, good, good. Mostly, no, I don't think they don't have dairy.
Okay.
They're just, like they have apple orchards and
Okay.
strawberries, blueberries,
So
a
they have like
variety of
apple picking and like
vegetables.
peach picking in the season, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They'll have apple picking, strawberry picking. They also, I think they might even have like a Christmas tree farm,
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
interesting.
I
Do you
could be
guys
wrong.
take the family up there for like the seasons, like apple picking and peach picking? I think peaches are
Yeah,
into August and apples
definitely
are kind
summer
of for
fruit.
fall, right?
Yeah, but no, we don't necessarily go up there specifically for apple picking. We go up there to visit my mother-in-law's my wife's uncle, my mother-in-law's
Mhm.
brother. So we go up there just to like go to the farm and like the kids can go see the cows and it's a different experience, right? He's got like a lot of acres, over 100 acres, baling hay. He's
Mhm.
got, he's a trucker also, so he's got like his,
Cool.
his rig and like the barn and it's like it's cool. It's different.
Interesting. That's got to
Yeah.
be a tough business.
Yeah, dude works hard, man.
I'm
Super
sure.
hard. Yeah,
I'm sure he
for sure.
does. I don't doubt it. That doesn't surprise me at all. I mean,
Yeah.
yes. The reason I was asking about does he is it a dairy farm? Because I thought it was pretty funny that I found the ice cream chicken leg at Yankee Stadium
Oh,
as
yeah,
much,
you did. Yeah. That
and
was
there
good.
wasn't a
Good
big
for you. You
line
sent that
either.
picture.
I did. I figured I had to, because you kept breaking my chops about the chicken bucket. See, it's like a mini chicken bucket. Now
I
you
mean, I
see it.
saw and I knew
Now
exactly what I was looking at when you sent it.
you
Like
did
there was
see. See.
if we had never talked about chicken ice cream
Yep.
as much as we did,
Yep.
that was the first thought. That's fried chicken.
So I obviously had the chicken bucket at Yankee Stadium since I missed it the first time, and it was the exact same thing that I brought you and we ate on our episode. I don't remember
That's
what
true.
episode it was, but it was the exact same thing.
Let me ask you a question. When you got the ice cream chicken at like wherever deli that you went, did
Yes.
you also cut the line at the deli to get that chicken ice cream, or you only cut the line at Yankee Stadium?
So I once was it Velardo's Deli? Does that sound right?
What?
It was in Nutley. Is that correct? I hope I'm not
Did you say
saying that
Nutley?
wrong. Is
Clifton?
it,
That wasn't in
no, it
Clifton?
was Nutley.
In Nutley.
I want to say it was in Nutley, New Jersey. But so I when I ordered them from the deli in Jersey, I called ahead and the guy put 10 like aside for me. So
That's kind
funny
of
you
cutting the
say
line.
it's funny you say that. When I walked in, it was kind of lunchtime and there was a massive line. There must have been 12 to 15 people on this
Hmm.
line. And I went to get into the back of it and I'm like, and the guy told me, he's like, just come to the front counter when you come in.
Yeah.
So I walk in, I see this massive line. So I kind of go to the back of the line and I'm like, fuck man, he told me to go right to the counter. So I felt like such a jackass walking up in front of 15 people and be like, hey, by the way, I'm here to pick up my ice cream chicken bucket bag. Like I felt like the biggest schmuck, by the way. But I did it and they were all looking at me like I was an asshole.
Well,
Um,
I mean,
and fuck off. Yeah, and so I did. I walked up to the counter. He told me to do it. It wasn't just me being an asshole. So yes, I walked up to the counter and he's like, "Oh, Jamie, yeah, here's your bag," and I paid for it and I walked out. I felt like such a jackass, by the way. So
yeah,
yes, I
but then
did cut the
so then what? You go to you go to Yankee Stadium and you see this long line and then you're like, what
Okay,
happened last time there was a line for ice cream chicken? Oh, I cut it.
so for those of you that remember when I tried it the first time, the line was not that long. It was much shorter this time, so it kind of wrapped around the pole, and as it's wrapping around the pole, I see all right. So if you go to Yankee Stadium, it's a very long counter for the ice cream. Okay, right across from Benihana's.
Yeah.
And last time we were there, only the left side was selling the chicken bucket. The right side was just selling regular ice cream. Okay. So as the line's wrapping around, we are standing in front of the right side of the counter. And we still have like ways to go to wrap around the pillar to kind of go into the queue. Okay.
Yeah.
And I see people walking up to this other ice cream line that I'm familiar with that just said it's sold regular ice cream. But I'm looking over the guy's head and they're advertising the chicken bucket over his head. And I'm going, and it says exit only. It was a queue for an exit. Okay.
What?
And
there's a queue for an exit.
It was roped off and it said exit only. Okay. So it's almost like you got your ice cream and you walked through there.
To walk.
But people were not leaving that way. They were walking the other way. So, I see, and I'm like, Nancy, I'm like, he has the chicken buckets. I'm like, he just gave to those 3 people. They just kind of walked up and got served. So I looked at Nancy and I'm like, should we walk in there? And it says exit, right? And the people behind me, they're like, it says exit, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but people are walking up there. She's like, I know. So like 4 or 5 people did it. So we're like, fuck it. We're doing it too then. So essentially what we do is we created another line. We did. So there was 2 lines now for the chicken bucket. So we walked up. There were only like 7 or 8 left.
Wow.
So I got one. I think there were like 3 or 4 left when I walked away.
Wow.
But yes, I did cut the line. I didn't cut the line. I created a new line along with a bunch of other patrons. It was not just me.
That's an interesting twist to the whole thing.
It was not just me. A bunch of people started it, and I just kind of followed suit.
So you're a follower.
No, but I must say,
when it comes to chicken ice cream, you are.
I suppose. I must say the dirty looks that we got from the people that were waiting on their line were
whatever. You'll never see them again, and you had chicken ice cream.
True. And I must say, when we left, the original line was huge.
And they don't tell people there's no more chicken ice cream?
So did I tell them that?
No, I'm just saying, like, the line was still for chicken ice cream and there was none left?
No, there were.
You said there was like 3 left when you got there.
There were 3 on my side. I'm sure the other side had more.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it was a left and a right side of like the counter. But when we went to the Yankee Stadium last month, the right side was not selling chicken buckets. It was just the left side. So so if you wanted regular ice cream, you just go to the other side.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
I got you. I got you.
So
all right.
So I suppose that I did cut the line twice.
Wow. Well, there's only one way to procure chicken buckets, and that is clearly by cutting lines.
Clearly. Clearly,
there's no other way.
You need to take like evasive maneuvers to make sure that you secure the chicken bucket before it disappears. Right?
You know what you should do next time? You should dress up in a chicken costume.
No.
And like you'd be a chicken like mascot, and then you could walk up and just take the chicken bucket, and you probably don't even have to pay for it because like they'll think like, oh, this is the guy
that I'm working there.
Yeah, and they're just you'll just take it and you'll be like showing everyone you got chicken, and you'll have free chicken buckets.
You know, I don't think I look very good in a chicken costume.
Why? How would anyone? So. You would be. It's like think Big Bird dog.
Oh, we're talking like so like you wouldn't see me at all. Like
no, you'd be like no.
Oh, so it's like a mascot thing.
Yeah, that's
like
what
the
I'm saying.
Philly fanatic type thing. Like you don't see the person.
100% like Gritty, but a chicken.
Those things have to be hot as hell. By the way.
Yo, can I tell you something though?
Imagine how fucking hot those things are.
So listen, Otto, like maybe 2 seasons ago, we went to a Devils game, and he was hell bent on getting on the jumbotron. So it was like after Halloween. And he wore like he was like Jason or whatever. So he had like, the old school goalie hockey mask with your stitches on and blood. Yeah. So he decided he was going to wear the face mask, and that'll get him on the jumbotron. We went, it didn't work.
Didn't it? It didn't work.
It didn't work. The face mask didn't work. So the next Devil game we go to, he's like, I need to up my game.
Yes.
So we have like a hot dog costume, which is like you get into it and like you're a walking hot dog. And he's like, this is how I'm getting on the jumbotron. I'm going to be a hot dog. So he literally, he would get in the hot dog costume, stand on the chair whenever like, he had a chance, and he made it on there.
There was a break in the action, and he made it on there. I remember that.
He got on as a hot dog. We'll put that on Instagram.
Didn't they put him on the Devil's Instagram too?
Oh,
I could have swore he made it on the Devil's Instagram.
No, but you want to hear something funny?
Am I wrong?
No,
I could have swore he made it.
If he did, I didn't know that. But then my daughter, who was also there, she was like, I want to wear the costume. And like finally, okay, so she wore it. unbeknownst to her, she wanted to walk down by the glass in between periods.
Right.
So we did. And like everyone's kind of like, standing and chilling. And people, like, I guess people thought that she was like a mascot that had to do with like the Prudential
For like
Center.
Oscar Mayer or like Sabrette.
Dude, literally people were coming up to her asking if they could take a picture with her.
Stop it.
And she was in this little hot dog
Really?
thing. I swear to God. And she goes, that was really weird. And I
That's
was like,
fantastic.
yeah, I thought it was a little weird too.
You and I have a history of taking pictures with mascots? Who did we take a picture with? Who did we take a picture with when we were in Lake Placid? It was the Clarkson. The Clarkson. It was the Clarkson mascot. He was like the Golden Knight or something like that.
Oh yeah, when he was walking by and by interviews.
He was in the lobby,
we could put that up too.
Yeah. And I actually have a picture I have a picture with what mascot? It was the Providence Friar.
Oh yeah.
In Providence, Rhode Island. Yep. When we went to see Providence play BC.
Oh, I think I remember
I have
that.
a picture with the Providence mascot.
Oh. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, that's all. I was done.
No, then I was thinking about Otto and hot dogs, and then he had gone to a Boston College game last season, and I guess in Boston College they throw hot dogs into the stands for like you win a hot dog, like people shoot T-shirts. I don't know because people were throwing hot dogs in the stands.
They're in like cellophane.
Yeah, no, in foil wrapper.
Yes, they're in foil.
And Otto caught a hot dog.
Right, correct.
Otto got a hot dog.
That's pretty sweet. He caught it.
Yeah, but he didn't eat it. Because I was going to eat that.
He didn't eat it, really? I would eat it.
I know. He there was a pass on his end.
Speaking of catching things in the stands, Nancy and I were sitting kind of down the third baseline at Yankee Stadium the other day.
Yeah.
Like 19 rows off the field. And 2 rows in front of us, they played the Cincinnati Reds. Okay. And this dude, Sal Stewart, it plays third base for the Reds. And his entire family were 2 rows in front of us. Okay. Like I'm talking like there must have been like 15 of them. And they all had
is he a local guy?
I don't think so. Nancy looked him up. He's from Miami. But clearly he has a ton of family in the New York area. Right.
Okay.
So they were 2 rows in front of us, and a foul ball was hit that I want to say like bounced off like the wall and kind of ricocheted back to him because he plays third base. And can I tell you, this guy takes the ball and he throws like a dot to his family members. And he was not close to them, Scott. And he throws a dot to his family members and they catch it 2 rows in front of us. Like
that doesn't surprise me.
Scott, he threw a fucking dot to these 2 family members.
He's a professional.
I know, but still, my God, it's ridiculous.
Dude, have you seen people
these dudes have?
But that's like in all sports, man. That's like you've seen like football, soccer players when they like do crossbar challenges.
Yes,
you know what I mean. It's like from distance too. It's not an accident.
Scott, this dude, he lobs it like from. He was standing like I don't know, maybe at the outfield grass where the dirt meets the outfield grass and by the third base, and he throws a fucking dot to his family members, and one of them caught it.
But listen, like from his end, right? Like he throws that and like a little too far, a little too short. He's hitting someone who's not paying attention.
No, everybody was paying attention.
Oh, okay,
Everybody stood up.
Oh, okay, got you.
And I actually almost kind of felt bad because I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, how shitty would that have been if the guy in the row in front of him caught it and like didn't give it to like his family members behind him?
Well, how would they know?
They were all wearing Stewart jerseys, number 27.
So it was that obvious.
Oh,
I thought maybe you like overheard them saying something.
No. You couldn't miss it. They were all because they were not only were they all wearing, not all of them, but the majority of them were wearing Stewart jerseys, whether they were white or red. Okay,
maybe it's just got a big fan club.
They were all in the same row. They were all wearing Stewart jerseys. He was playing third base right there, and then before the game started, they were down by the wall. Where the players
talking to him,
and he came over to say hi to them.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of neat.
Sweet.
Yeah,
that is cool.
He throws a dime to him, like it was cool.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just watching. I get caught up in like YouTube or like Instagram or like when I see something like these professional athletes like just doing professional athlete like stuff. You know what I mean? It's like Jesus, they're so good, man. And let me tell you something. I played pickup the other morning, and one of the guys in the game played in the Coast in the East Coast Hockey League, and it's just like, wow, dude. Like this guy obviously didn't make the NHL, but played in the Coast. And look, again, he's playing against like myself and other people like that are not very good, but
They're not
still, it's just like,
professionals.
just seeing some, like all the details, like just like, body position, stick position, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like how quickly they can stick handle, get their head up and make like, a cheeky little pass, like, like backdoor. It was just like unreal to watch up close.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
You had an interesting little run in at your pickup game, right?
Oh, I had another one too. I didn't even tell you.
Oh, really?
Wait. Oh yeah, that's so funny. So shout out to Ben McGrath.
Yes.
So last episode, and then we should probably wrap it up. It's getting long, but
Sure.
so last episode when we had Rich Cohen on, he had mentioned someone from his that he knows. Then I think it had to do with like going to Chelsea Piers and
Men's league, yeah.
men's league game, and he mentioned this guy Ben McGrath, and so anyway, I get on the bench to play the game. And just introducing myself to folks that I hadn't met before, and I introduced myself to the guy Ben, and he goes, Rich Cohen, I know him. He's a friend. He mentioned me on the podcast. I'm like, dude, this is such a small world. That just last week, you were mentioned on our podcast, and now
And then
I'm
you
on the
ran
bench
into
with
him.
you
How
playing
funny is
men's
that?
league. And then
Yes.
the funnier thing is, his kid's on, and look, I'm still meeting families on Otto's team for next season. His son's on Otto's team.
How funny. How
So
funny is that?
now, yeah, there's like I don't know,
Yeah,
it's just
small
a
world.
small world.
Yes, very, very small world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, can we please talk about the blockbuster NHL trade that happened last night?
OMG.
Dude,
I told
What?
Otto, I'm like, Otto, major trade. Guess who's playing with who? And
I told Dominic the same thing.
and then Orly's like, they're brothers. And so Otto goes,
I'm like,
no
I
way.
think he's saying the
He goes,
same thing.
Quinn's on the Devils.
Oh, that would have been phenomenal, by
And
the way.
he's like, no, he's like, Jack's on the
Jack's on the Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild. I'm like, no, dude. I'm like, Brady's playing in Florida.
Brady Kachuk to Florida for 4 draft picks.
I mean,
2 firsts, a future first, and a future 2. Is that what it is? Something like that?
yeah, I don't remember what it is, but like, geez.
It was like 2 ones. They traded Mackie Samoskevich to Seattle earlier in the day.
Yeah,
So that's how they acquired another one. So they traded this year's 2 ones. I want to say it's 9 or 13 and 25, something like that.
Yeah.
A first in 2029, and I think a second in 2030 or something along those lines for Brady.
Unreal. I
I
mean,
mean, listen, now you're gonna have to pay him, so their salary cap's he's not gonna have a small salary.
no, but the other thing is like he's also coming from Canada, where like the salary that he was making there, like with the Canadian, with the exchange rate and the tax situation, going down
now
to
he's
Florida.
going to a non-tax state.
That's what I'm
So he's
saying. I'm
He's
sure
gonna
like
keep more of his money.
100%. Like clearly that's the advantage that they have in being in Florida, but still,
I'm going to say something that may be a little controversial, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it just made me think about it when this happened. Why is it that U.S.-born players are leaving Canada to come to the United States to play? Quinn, Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk. Why is that?
I think there's plenty of people that go both directions.
Are there?
I mean, I think so. I don't. You trying to connect dots between this and like taxes?
I'm not sure.
It could.
That's why I'm asking.
I think
is
that's
it just
something
me,
that's,
or is that a thing? I can't tell.
Listen, no,
Like,
I think
I can't tell if it's a thing or not. But you have all these big time U.S. born players that are leaving our friends up north to come back to the States.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Is it a money thing? Is it an exchange rate thing?
I think in some instances that's definitely part of the equation. I think undoubtedly.
Think about that. Quinn wanted to leave, right? Brady, Matthew, Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah. I mean,
Again,
look,
I don't know if there's any there, but it seems like U.S. born players are like gravitating away from the Canadian teams. Again, I don't know if it's true. Cole Caulfield seems to be one of the only exceptions. Thatcher
Lane
Demko.
Hudson.
Well, Lane Hudson's on his rookie contract. That's different.
Fair.
Right? Thatcher Demko. Cole Caulfield signed an extension. Is Brock Besser still up there? He is, right? I'll say Brock's still up there. Thatcher Demko and what's his face? Our USA Hockey goalie. What's his name?
Oh no, Hellebuck.
Thank you, Connor Hellebuck's up there, and assigned, So I'm curious to see if there's like an exchange rate thing that the U.S. born players want to not play in Canada.
They don't always have control over where they're going.
Of course not.
But I think for some people who have a say and have leverage in the conversation, I think that, look, if you're choosing between Vegas, Dallas, Tampa, Florida, like even Carolina's a low income tax state, like,
we're talking
those are all solid teams too, so you know what I mean?
True. So true, very true.
So I don't know. It's got a lot going for it, those teams,
Yeah, interesting. I wonder if there's anything there. I would love to explore that with somebody who knows what they're talking about. If somebody who knows, like, I don't know. Interesting, though, right?
Knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. Well, listen.
And I think Quinn is definitely coming to the Devils, by the way, now. Because I think he wants to play with his brothers.
We're going to find out.
One more year.
One more year, dog. One more year. Listen, what do you think we wrap this guy up?
We can. Absolutely, buddy. This was fun.
Yeah, always fun.
On location.
Yeah, you can get out of the friggin' hotel. I mean, the lobby,
The lobby?
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody has side-eyed me. It's not that bad, I must say. Even though everybody's walking by. But it hasn't been terrible.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, it's actually worked.
Your plan D is working.
Yeah, you're not kidding. It's been an interesting day. So,
all right, dude. Why don't you eat some food and get some rest?
Yes, I appreciate that. I will talk to you later.
All right, my guy.
Episode 72 in the books.
In the books, numbers 72.
I love it. See you later, buddy.
All right, dude. Peace out.
Bye, buddy.